audio recording. Here we go. Confirm. We got some audio in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon and welcome to Core. This is Core for Thursday, October 5th, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger, and we are here to talk about the state of video games during this week, I suppose. Weirdly, with still a million games coming out and a lot of weird stuff going on, compared to previous weeks, a little slow on the news front, which is probably okay to catch up a little bit, breathe a little, you know, not thinking about a billion giant AAA games dropping all at the same time. Although somebody pointed out today that
they're still happening, though.
Yeah, they're still happening. There's a demo for the new RoboCop game on Steam today, and I meant to grab it. Hadn't had a chance yet, but I watched some video. Dude, that RoboCop game looks badass. It looks real good.
Does it?
Yeah.
I love RoboCop, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to disparage RoboCop.
Yeah.
I used to walk around like him as a kid.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. How do you make a game where you just walk everywhere and get shot at and don't react and then shoot slowly at things? How do you make a fun game out of that?
Well, I think you'd be surprised. So this new one's called Rogue City, right? Yeah. Is that the one, the new one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. I'm going to download the demo after the show.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to try this. I need to know because, again, I love RoboCop. He's great.
Yeah.
He's not action-packed. He's not the Doom guy. He just sort of walks places and shoots things.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think they've captured that pretty well. Like you walk down the street and he's like grr, grr, with his cool gun, and then he'll pull somebody toward him with some kind of ability. I don't know how he's doing it. It must be mechanical of some sort. And then just throw them against the wall and kill another guy on the way to that wall. The head splatter when he hits somebody in the head is like all over the place. It feels like someone who really likes RoboCop, the first Verhoeven movie, made this game. It feels like they know what the F they're doing. And the sound and all the voice work and all this stuff. Oh, man. It looks great. I wasn't even thinking about this game until I saw this video today. And I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm playing RoboCop. And like...
Yeah, and they didn't try to go remake RoboCop. They went with the real RoboCop.
Oh, yeah. Like OG.
Yeah.
The look of it, the old suit.
Real hand Mass Effect armor RoboCop.
Yep. And they've even got, I want to say they got, what's his name back for the voice?
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller. I know they got the lady who was his partner back.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yeah, she's
That's
in
cool.
it. And her whole
That's
likeness is in
great.
it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, man. I guess I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, that'll be a weird thing that maybe we won't play. I don't know. It's a weird year. Who knows? But I think I'm probably going to play that now. Anyway, that's not what I was
You know what
gonna...
I wish from a RoboCop game just before we move on?
What's that?
I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what needs to be in there? I don't know if it is. You know, RoboCop is a satire.
Yeah, of society.
I think a good RoboCop game would be a satire of video games.
Oh, I see.
I'd love to play a video game that did for the video game, like action video game industry, like what RoboCop did with like American society and corporations and all of that.
Sure. My guess is you're right. They should. My guess is this will be more like the film in that it will tackle societal issues, questions, thoughts, whatever. And from what I saw from the video and the dialogue, it seems like they're dipping into the same pool.
And it is like a cyberpunk genre game, right? I mean,
Yeah, kinda, yeah, right.
Dystopia, like capitalism, Illuminati,
Right.
powerful corporations, control and ultraviolence in the streets.
Yep.
Like it's got all that stuff to it. So I think like production value wise, it looks good. Obviously, when people get it in their hands and play it, we'll see, is it fun to play?
Yeah.
But I'd say, like I've said it many times, the combat and everything in Cyberpunk's cool, but it's all, I mean, you kind of own people pretty easily. It's
Yeah.
I think probably it'll be about as compelling as Cyberpunk combat. So it is $64 though, Canadian.
Full blown. Well,
It's I
Not
mean,
too bad, I
not
guess.
really, because I guess it's $79.99, but pretty close. So I'm expecting a movie, like a narrative. So
Well, if
maybe
the,
that'll make it worth the price of entry.
if the game doesn't feature at least one time where he shoots through someone's skirt and gets the guy in the crotch behind her, then no sale. Forget it. I'm out. Not interested. Or what's another famous scene? Like if they don't have a prelude where the guy from that 70s show blows his hand off or something. Like whatever. I need some
I need
references.
to get somebody with the data spike that comes out of his hand.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. I gotta get him, and there needs to be a big spurt of blood that goes out everywhere.
But it
We do need
reminded
some
me
good ultra violence.
when I was watching it, reminded me of a mech game weirdly because the way you control him is like a big lumbering. He's slower, right? He's not sprinting.
Did he just throw down his iconic gun to pick up a different gun, or did he put it away and pick up a different
He put it
gun?
away in his pants.
Okay.
And now
Okay,
he's
'cause
using
I
other
was like,
guns. Yeah.
You know, the iconic RoboCop gun, and then he's like, here's an Uzi. Get rid of this. Just chuck it to the side.
Yeah, I would be. That would upset me. I wouldn't be happy about him throwing that away, especially in the first mission. Come on now, that gun matters. That gun matters a lot. But I also get they want some variety. So yeah, of course he'll pick up other weapons. But I think this looks really nice. I want to play it.
I'll try it. I'll see what it's like. I don't know if I'll buy it, but I'm certainly curious. I do like RoboCop.
Yeah, he says things like "drop your weapon" or what else? What's your name, son? Officer Murphy. He says as he walks away.
Yeah. You know what? You always say that. He never says that.
He never does. I know.
Let me just be clear for anybody that thinks
He
he
never
says
says
that in
that?
that movie.
He says
Never once.
Officer Murphy.
Not
doesn't
once.
he? Doesn't he at least say
Not
Officer?
not a single time.
Come on now.
Not a single time in RoboCop does he say Officer Murphy.
Well, I think he
Not
does.
once.
Doesn't
Nope.
he?
Guarantee you.
Oh wait, now I gotta know. It's gonna bug me.
Ask
Here it is.
GPT.
I have the ending. I'm gonna play some audio. Let's see what we get. I don't know if this is gonna work or if this is gonna.
The what's your name, son?
Yeah, what's your name, son? Here it is, right here.
Murphy. is
Here it
the-
goes. Wait, where is that part? Oh, this is no, it's too soon. Okay, there it goes. Puts the gun away. Shuts it. Turns. Walks away.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
Just Murphy.
There you go. There you go.
Then where does Officer Murphy come
From Scott. That's where it comes from. It comes from Scott.
I think I have completely memed that wrong and done that. I've done that since
Well,
what,
that-
87?
I think
this
that's
came
when
out?
memes become reality because you say the joke so much that
It's
you-
just like
Yeah.
Luke, I'm your father, not in Star Wars. Not
Yeah.
a line.
Yeah.
This is the same effect. It's fine. And he also doesn't, yeah, chat pointed it out right then too. He also doesn't sound like a robot when he says it. He
No.
says it like a person because he doesn't
we have that in the
sound
family too. Like my brother or sister, one of them got you get like a toilet seat smallerizer for a toilet. For, like, a little
Smallerizer.
child's like you make the hole
It's,
smaller.
level
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
The baby-
spelled to-
So we
Yeah.
had a wooden one, built by somebody who just cut a hole in wood.
Ugh.
It was varnished and stuff. It wasn't just like a piece of lumber. It was nice.
Okay. No slivers?
But-
Bum slivers?
My brother and sister argue about who got it stuck in their head as a baby, and it's to the point they've argued about it so much over the years because we had to saw it out because they got their head in, we couldn't get it out, so we had to get a hacksaw and cut the damn thing.
Yeah.
But they're both convinced they're the ones that had it happen to them, that nobody even knows what really happened, and we were all there for it. Like I was there, and my mom was there. Everyone's like, it's at a point now where it's just like we have no idea who's right, and they're both convinced it was them.
Yeah, family
But I-
legends. That's how those work. I think that's probably the same thing. We hear it or see it or build it in our heads, and then later that's just how we recall it. He doesn't even say Murphy, which is how in my head he goes, Officer Murphy. Like he just says it wrong. But I've clearly done that to myself.
But it's because he is Officer Murphy. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
He does say his name.
Yep.
He does talk weird when he's doing a robot. You just kind of combine it all together and you go, Officer Murphy. Like, it's
Yeah.
fun to say. It's fun to do. No one's faulting you for it. I just think it is a fun factoid that he never says.
Yeah, and this is the first time this has been truly cleared up right here on the Air on Core. Look what you guys tuned into tonight. Amazing. Amazing. Be glad you listen to our show and not some other dumb podcast. We got some news that we're going to talk about. Speaking of Cyberpunk, which we've been playing and talking a lot about in the last couple of weeks, there was an announcement made, and this caught me by surprise. I didn't know this was happening, and I also didn't know the people involved, and now I'm over the hill excited. I'm so excited about this. Live-action Cyberpunk 2077 project is underway. This is from the media company Anonymous Content. They're responsible for such things as Mr. Robot, True Detective, a couple of films as well. Let me pull those up. The Revenant, Spotlight, a couple other things. Anyway, they're looking for a screenwriter now. That's where they're at. But this is happening. It's going, and they're going to make a live action hardcore. If True Detective, Mr. Robot, or any comparison, sort of a hardcore take on that world. And I think they're shopping it primarily to HBO. One article said can end up somewhere else, but HBO/Max may get it. I am so all for this. And here, I thought it'd be fun, obviously, to talk about it, but also talk about what we want out of it. And what I want out of it, I don't think I want V's story. We already have that. What I think I want is new stories told in that world, in Night City and surroundings, in that world, in that minutia, but let's not just trudge the game out. Kind of like the anime did a great job of this. The anime wasn't about V. I mean, there are references to the game, but it's mostly like a separate storytelling happening in that world. And I think that's what made the anime so cool. So do that with this and tell us some new stories, some new characters, some crazy take down the corpo overlord cyberpunk bullshit. I'm ready for it. John, what do you think? What do you want out of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. It's funny because we've also been hearing talk about what the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077 might be. CD Projekt Red confirmed they're in the conceptual phase for it, to a point where people even said, like, hey, do you regret it being first person? Are you going to switch to third person or anything? And they're like, we don't know. We still don't know. We're figuring it out. But, with where I'm at in the game, I'm going to miss the hell out of V and Johnny Silverhand. Yeah. At the same time, that feels like my personal experience. I would only want that experience to continue in the game. Like, that's the only place I want to see those characters again.
Right.
Because the second you cast, and we said this about Mass Effect, the second you cast V, you have undone my vision of it. Yep. Like, and just about anybody.
Oh,
like
V vision.
Oh, we see what you did, John. That's pretty good.
Like, you could put Johnny Silverhand in it if you're going to get Keanu Reeves, and I think that could be awesome. But I don't really want to see just a retelling of the story from the game. So I'm kind of with you. I'd rather see a side story, something else from the world. I think one of the big strengths that something like Cyberpunk has over Mass Effect is that there are plenty of stories in that world that work. Mass Effect wound up being so big and so Reaper focused that it's hard to get out of the way of that story to tell something else in that universe. There's plenty of other stories you can tell, but you kind of always have to deal with this big Reaper thing that happens somewhere in that timeline.
Is that TV show coming out, or is that still on the way?
I think that's still a thing.
Yeah. Same with the Fallout show. Same deal. They're both being
But I think, like, Cyberpunk is both a really big story, but also not so world encompassing that you can't tell 100 other stories from Night City or the areas around with those characters and have it be interesting. So I'm with you. Let it be a side thing, and
let it breathe on its
at
own.
Most, again, I wouldn't mind seeing Keanu Reeves.
Because there is this feeling when you play the game that even though you're having your story and your character V is having this experience, and there are big things moving, big chess pieces moving around in your story, there's always a feeling just walking down the street when I play that game that I just passed 500 other interesting stories that are just surface level to me. But if I went and poked a little bit, I would find out, wow. I mean, even if the game doesn't support that, the point is, like, I'll see a stretch limo fly past and go, who's in there? What is that about? What the frick is going on there? Or I'll see an altercation in the street and get a little bit of dialogue above their heads. Doesn't even result in a quest, but it's enough to spark my imagination about, whole other set of something going on over there. I wouldn't mind seeing some of this from the perspective of a cop, working in a place like this. Like, there's all sorts of shit you could do.
There's
Bo,
millions of people in Night City.
yeah.
So,
What do you think? I mean, you're a big story TRPG guy, tabletop RPG guy, and you love
Well,
the source. So what do you think?
Sure, they're gonna. There's a recurring theme now with their content, which comes from the pen and paper, which is not about how you live; it's about how you die.
Mm.
So I don't think they're. I'm not expecting like this week's adventures on The Witcher or something like that. I'm feeling like it's going to be a cast and they're all going to die.
Yeah.
And so it's whatever story they're going to tell with that, I think, is how it's going to go. I expect that's how the sequel is going to go too.
Mm.
You're going to play a new protagonist, hopefully with a path to progression that makes sense, and like a path to something a little more linear, like you suck to you're a pro. But it'll be a whole unique tale involving new people, new experiences. I don't think.
But there is a nihilistic quality to the world, right? Like nihilism is core to its vibe.
Yeah, like life is cheap.
Yeah,
like you and the only thing that matters. It's like it's more like a Viking. They always want to get to Valhalla in combat. It's kind of like Jackie Wells goes out and in the middle of a glorious heist against Arasaka. He gets a drink named after him at the afterlife. Like that's the best you can hope for. You're otherwise just another piece of worthless synth meat.
Yeah.
That the city churns out and spits out every day, and you can buy guns from vending machines. Like it literally, no one cares. Like it's take everything that you find horrifying today, and just make it a normal part of everyday life.
Yeah.
And that's the crappy world that Night City is. So I don't expect there to be like here's a series of characters with complex emotions that will follow throughout their career. I'm like, pretty much they're all gunning to die, Maybe
they treat it more like and it's not a one-to-one obviously, but like, Walking Dead has characters that have carried through since the beginning, but not many.
Good example of what I don't think it will be.
Well, there's only like one or two people who've made it through, right? And I'm not saying this is a survival kind of show.
Mean. Yeah, Carol's around forever or whatever.
Yeah,
or
but you never know who it's going to be, and major people go. The most major of people went in that show at some point. People die that shouldn't die. Like you can get a lot of mileage out of, I think, a property like Cyberpunk by establishing characters that you do really like and you invest in, only to find out in episode 9 they get offed in a very unceremonious, horrible way, and it fits. It's like part of the, that story works for it. Like I kind of like that. If the world can be done right, the Mr. Robot DNA here is a really hopeful thing for me, because when I watch that show, I get similar feelings.
It's not Sam Esman that's working on it. Like it's just a production.
It's a production company, yeah. So it's not necessarily
some cheesy
writers.
stuff too. You were plucking the highlights. I went to their website and it's like, yeah, okay, it doesn't. It maybe means something, but I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure. I mean, CD Projekt Red has like made a good decision in hiring Trigger, so hopefully they've made another good decision with who they've gone with. But,
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so.
We don't know who's working on it. It might be Tarantino, and they might be like, all right, we need to see what cyberpunks are like when they don't wear shoes, please.
Do yourselves a favor.
I think,
go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I think that's kind of the strength of the cyberpunk universe, is that it doesn't have to be one thing. Like it is not necessarily just like, oh, well, we know it's going to be a balls to the wall action, anti-corporate thing. It probably will be, but like even within the context of the game itself, they touch on elements of mysticism. They touch on elements of Illuminati. They touch on elements of, corporate greed. Sure. Big explosive action. Yes. But like, mental state with cyberpsychosis and stuff like that. Like there's a ton of things that it touches on. It could literally be anything. Like even looking at, again, the body of work that they list, you could see a Mr. Robot style story set in the cyberpunk universe. You can see a True Detective style story set in the cyberpunk universe. Like it is not impossible to tell these stories because it doesn't really fit in that world. Like that world fits a broad set of narratives, and so I feel like it could really be just about anything.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think you think they'd go as far? Well, this is HBO. They can do a lot, right? So they could probably go, the skeevy underbelly and the whole doll thing, and check it out. It's a big dildo store here, and look at all this debauchery that's going on in this world. Like, I almost
If
feel like
they
you
can't
need to
curse or do ultra violence, it's not worth.
Yeah, it's not even worth doing. Exactly. Right? It's
No,
like,
there are things that are hallmarks of the show, and one is like savage ultraviolence. For
yeah,
sure.
it has to be. And also, you probably
dildos.
you probably like the anime. You'd probably give Ripper Docs a little bit more intensity, right? Because the
like
game,
Craven, entertainments, right?
yeah.
Even the anime, not for the kids, unless you want them to see what Japanese porn in braindance form looks like. There's, that in the show. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I'm expecting like them to have that as well. The what is it? The three mouth girl that you see all the time.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
The advertisements. Yeah. Maybe
And
she's
Nilfgaard.
what if she's
I
your
mean, the
main
number
character?
of times I hear and I'm
That
thinking
guy.
there's a guy around the corner. It's a stupid ad for Orgasmatron or whatever, or
Yeah.
organic,
Or the mom.
organic
There's
orgasm.
a mom one where it's a lady doing that, and you come around the corner. There's this big old spread eagle looking 45-year-old mom lady up there,
Yeah.
and it's just like, okay, that ad needs to be.
I was
pulled.
in Corpo Plaza the other day, and there's just a full on billboard of like POV porn. Couldn't even tell you what the product was. It was just it's like it's just here in the city, like in this world. It's just
Yeah.
there. We're not quite there yet in this world, but
The
not
juxtaposition
far.
is interesting, though, from a storytelling perspective. Like I said last week, Takamura standing there next to this horrendous advertisement, but he's so stoic and we are going to go do this thing and take down the family once and for all. And I'm like, can we go to the ramen hut up the street? Because all I can think about is this dude bent over in tiny little leather pants barfing in the toilet. Can we go that?
Oh, Watson Horror. It's a great TV show.
Yeah.
That's a very
It's
popular.
Wednesdays.
TV
I think it's
show,
on
so-
Wednesdays on 8 p.m. on N64 or what is the channel? N65.
N64, I like that.
the Nintendo
It's N something.
64.
Is
N32. It's something.
Okay.
Let's say N64.
Well, if they can do it and pull it off well, then I'm all for this. And I think people are kind of in the mood right now for good video game adaptations. It was this very year that we got the amazing Last of Us adaptation. Why not continue that trend and make something cool? So I am excited. And other news goes with this. John mentioned it. They're working on the new game. It's in conceptual stage. There was news last year that the next game would be they're moving all to Unreal 5 engine stuff. And away from their own engine, which could just mean interesting things visually. Although this game's beautiful, so I don't know. I think it turned
This
out
game
great.
looks better than anything that came out this year.
Yeah, it's really
like,
something.
I'm playing it and I'm just like, why? How does it look this good? Like
Yeah.
the amount of times I still stop, and again, you're not looking at a beautiful vista. You're looking at a shit and piss covered street with a
It has a lot of-
billboard of a
Yeah.
ass farting in a man's face while he goes. "Huh?" Like it's not a great world, but boy does it look good while you're looking at it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Like
There's a
I
lot of
can't even turn on
characters
ray
in it.
tracing, and I think this game is like one of the best looking games I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's insane how good looking this game is
Yeah.
still.
So it
There's
stands
a lot
only
of
to
character
look better.
to it, and there's a lot of it. It's not just here's where the main mission happens. We made extra sure to make the buildings nice because it's an MSQ area. It's
Yeah.
like hard to tell. Like they've just designed the city, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
it looks
that's a
great.
big bite to chew when you're talking about film or television production, because you want to replicate that stuff as well as you can and kind of give it that feeling, kind of Blade Runner feeling of this is a huge wet city that is bustling everywhere. Nobody can move 2 inches without being in somebody's way. Like all of that stuff just needs to come off the screen, and in the right hands, this can be done really well. So I'm personally very excited. We're not going to see Dinky for years. It's going to be a while.
Yeah. It's a long while.
Yeah, because they're just getting
But
started.
I think it's a tough thing going from live action to this. In terms of the feeling.
Yeah.
The anime did a lot because
because it's
The
anime.
way they were able to capture the action and the colors and stuff was just like it's almost gonna like do a disservice to the TV show because you're gonna have to wipe that particular flavor, I think, from your mind. I mean, who knows?
It'd be nice
don't
if they
know.
had more of that up their sleeve. I'd go for more anime in the
I
meantime.
think that's
Yeah,
a
me too.
testament to how good the graphics are, though, is that I can watch the anime and go, oh my gosh, that's that place from the game. And this also looks really cool on its own. And then I can go into the game and I don't go, oh, it doesn't look like the anime.
Hey, I watched the
Uh,
anime in the game. There's a
I did
yeah.
that too.
What?
Yeah.
Where's
yeah.
this? Where do I go? What?
it shows it on the map as like a quest, so you won't miss it eventually.
Mm.
But it's like it's it's a yellow quest marker, so it's like an important side gig. And you go to some building and it's closed. And maybe I think that building might
it's
be
David's
in the TV
apartment.
show. Yeah,
it's David's apartment.
and you there's some cyberware. What are they? Brain dance goggles in a trash can, and you put it on, and then it shows you an anime clip that isn't in the anime. It's nothing. It's just the opening.
No,
but,
it
like,
is. It's the opening to the
Oh,
anime. It's
it
the
is?
first
Okay.
thing you see. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
It's all
just
very
started
detailed.
rewatching
Yeah.
the anime because I'm
Oh, so
diving
okay,
all
so
in. So
it's just
yeah,
a cyber attack from the beginning of the show, but it's very. I was like, oh, it did fit. Like it wasn't jarring to go from anime to the game. It fit. I just felt, oh, okay.
They
yeah.
do a good job of
yeah,
that.
it's absolutely crazy. That quest, by the way, will get you David's jacket. If anybody's
Oh,
like,
I do want.
I
David's
wanna-
Still
jacket.
working on
I
it.
want to wear David's jacket. There you go.
Yeah.
That's how you get it. But
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like usually, especially when you have something that's very stylized. And Scott, you know this about me. Like I'm very particular about my art style,
Yeah.
and my aesthetic.
Yeah.
Going from the anime to the game in this case doesn't jar me at all.
Yeah.
And that's a real feat because normally I would pick one or the other and
Yeah.
go, well, I like it here, but I don't like it here."
Totally agree.
Yeah.
In this case in particular, like I'm usually, I don't know. I don't know which way I would go normally with a difference like that. Like I'm trying to give another example. It's Castlevania doesn't really work because we don't have like a big 3D game to compare it to right now. But that Castlevania anime is really cool. Like I jive on that style big time, and I kind of would need the game to adhere to stylistic choices in there now.
Doing a new anime too. That's a big deal, I think.
What is it? Sorry, the who?
The guy who did Castlevania, I was reading an article. I can't remember what. it
Oh,
was.
they have something new coming because they just put out a new season of that, the final season of that, I think.
Yeah, the showrunner's working on something else though, but it's kind of, what was it?
Ooh, excited! I really like that series.
It seemed the way they made it seemed like he's a bit of an auteur. You
Hmm.
know, whatever.
Right?
Who was it?
I don't
Eddie
know.
Shankar. I can't remember.
Larry, the
Sorry.
anime guy. I have no idea. Well, while we're on the subject, we may as well just do this. Let's talk about what we played this week. In our shared list, Cyberpunk's still a thing. We're still playing it. I will say that I am deep into Phantom Liberty. However, I hit that wall of I gotta wait for Idris Elba to call me back. They do this in the main campaign as well. You know the one I'm talking about. And Takamura did this to me once or twice. And yes, you can do some of those things are quest gated, and some of those things are you just have to wait. And if you don't feel like doing side stuff, you can just set your clock and do a 48-hour jump or whatever. But in this case, I went, all right, that's cool. I'll leave Dogtown for a while and work on some other stuff because I'm still playing the main campaign as well on this playthrough. And I got so busy doing other stuff over there that I don't think I haven't done whatever gets him to call me yet, but I've cleared out a ton of the Night City PD jobs. Bo is right. You want to make a bunch of money? Do that.
Yeah.
Great way to make money.
Yeah.
And find cool gear, by the way. I found some cool shit just clearing those out. Couple of cyber psycho missions, that kind of stuff. And I got so wound up inside stuff in the old part of the game that I have yet to get back there. So I'm at that part. We're not going to spoil anything today, but John, you apparently something pops off pretty shortly after where
I
am.
wanted to say
Well-
just before you start, if
Yeah.
you guys can talk spoilers, I'll just headphones off if you guys want to talk.
No,
No.
I don't think we're gonna get too spoilery, but I am curious because you hadn't gotten there yet, Scott.
Yeah.
So, what are your impressions of the expansion so far? Like
Well-
non-spoilery, what are your thoughts on Dogtown as a location and kind of the general tone and way that it kicks off?
I'm
'Cause
glad
I think
you
last
asked.
week I said it kicks off in a big way.
Yes.
I think you agree. Based
I
on
do
something
agree.
I
And
saw
here's
you write.
here's what's funny, because in my head we talked about this, but really it was mostly you had talked about that intro and I hadn't gotten there. So after the show last week, I got to the Elba stuff. It was after you dealt with the Voodoo Boys and all that. And I chose differently this time, by the way, on the Voodoo Boys thing. That was interesting because last time I chose a different way. I won't say how that works, but it does change things. There's some,
Yeah, I did the
stuff there.
same thing. Like it went very different for me this time.
yeah, it was fun to do that and experience it differently. But anyway, I went out there, and when you say I went out there, that's a weird thing to say because Dogtown isn't just a thing you walk into. It is later, but initially it is a walled off, terrifying place that you can't get in edgewise because it is guarded to the hilt with a billion cops. And I even tried getting in there a couple of different ways to see if I could force my way through, and it'll let you try. It won't let you succeed necessarily. I died a lot and went back to a save and kept trying it. But anyway, eventually figured out what I needed to do. It really does kick off. Actually, my very first impression was I was slightly annoyed because when it started, I was like, is this just going to be like 3 sequences in a row where I'm climbing something? Like there is a lot of climbing in that first part of that content. And I just thought, this is a weird bit of filler. I hope they don't have this as a filler throughout this area, because prior to this in the game, there really isn't much of that. There's not a lot of climb this thing and find the path and get the little cubby hole and go through there and then keep climbing. It was all like almost like 3D platformer stuff. And I thought, well, I don't know if I'm going to love that. I was wrong. That was very small. It was like nothing. And once I got past that and got into Dogtown, what a reveal for me anyway. Coming out of that little hole and having it open into that market space in there with trash piles over here and dudes hawking bullshit over here and cops kicking people around. And it felt like, you know how I don't know if it holds up now, but if you see like Total Recall, the inner Mars stuff that was like the slum area of parts of Mars, I'm getting that vibe big time from Dogtown. And it is so my vibe in there. You were right about the kind of Mad Max vibe in there. It's incredibly detailed. The way, I mean, and it's a trash heap, most of it, but it's done in such a way that it just feels lived in and really well thought out and designed. Like just from that aspect alone, I fell in love with that content almost immediately. And going through those derelict buildings that used to be big fancy hotels, now they're just shit shows, is just so my vibe. And I loved all that stuff. So also to put it lightly, things do really kick off. I'm speaking of, let's call it this won't be a spoiler. Let's call it a cyber possession. You know what I'm talking about?
No, you guys can talk about it. I'm going to deafen.
No, I don't want to give anything away though. I don't want to give any story points away. But John, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see that coming. That was scary as shit.
Oh boy, Scott.
I know. See, this is why I keep hearing is that I'm not even like, that's like nothing compared to what I'm heading toward. But I liked that this expansion has late title card. So you do a ton of stuff, and I just thought I would treat it like a mission, like the rest of the game. But eventually you get to a point where it goes Phantom Liberty, and so puts text up on the screen. You're like, oh, they're really making this like its own thing, and it's very, even though the rest of the world's accessible and I can keep coming back and forth and stuff. At least later in that mission you can, but I guess initially you're sort of trapped in there for a while. But it is really, really good so far. Like I said, I got to the point where he says, I'll give you a call. And then I have not been back in there. And then we got a message from John saying,
Yeah. So I've officially scared Scott with my progress. So I have beaten the Phantom Liberty main story. There's still plenty of side stories and side things to do. There's even some like direct. It is a little weird. They give you credits for Phantom Liberty, which feels a little jarring because it's in the middle of the game. the overall game, but like even like there's some post-credit missions that pop up as well as just side stuff that I hadn't done. But I have beaten it, and I put the fear into Scott because the fear got put into me. I did not anticipate that Cyberpunk 2077 would be a very appropriate October release by being one of the scariest games I've played this year.
Wow.
Uh,
I don't know
it
even what
may-
to make of that. Like scary and like Resident Evil kind of jump scare. Like what? Describe it without telling us what it is, so that we know.
I can't describe it without telling you.
All right.
I'll tell you that it at times reminded me of Alien Isolation.
Oh,
That's
man.
not connected to it. That's just if I was gonna compare it to a game, that's probably the game I would compare it to.
Great.
So now here's some hope for you, Scott, because I did send Scott a message this week and I just said, I got bad news, Scott. You're not gonna be able to finish Phantom Liberty unless you like stream it with me guiding you or something.
Yeah.
Like you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, come here, look at this. And she watched me play through a segment like this. She was leaned back in her chair, and by the time it was done, she said, this is the most anxiety I've gotten watching you play anything ever.
Wow. That's
And
not small. That's a big deal.
I was not expecting this. However, Scott, there is hope for you. But I'm gonna be mean on top of it.
Oh.
It turns out that you might not experience this part of the game at all.
Oh, really? Why? Because of a choice I've already
Possibly.
made or something?
There are 4 new endings to I believe 4 endings total to
Phantom
Liberty.
Okay.
And they hinge pretty heavily on a couple major choices. And apparently, not only do the endings matter, but the content you see that leads you to the end is impacted by the choices you make as well. So it's not just a case of, oh, well, I chose X, so I see ending Y. It's a case of like, I chose X, so the game goes in this direction, as opposed to I chose this, now the game's going in a completely different direction.
Okay.
So at least one of those is a major choice.
Okay.
You might not make the same choice. You might not have to do what I did, but I will not tell you what choice I made.
Yeah.
And even if I did, I would probably lie to try and make sure you went down the same path as me. So I don't think I'd be a good person because I really want you to experience this. I'm gonna be so sad if this isn't the direction you go, knowing how much you love horror games. I really want this to be the path for you, but I don't know. For all I know, the other path might be scarier. I haven't seen it. I just know that it's different. That's all I really know.
Be funny
But-
if I chose the path that just made Idris Elba go boo one time, and that was the scary as it got.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
just he just turns around and jumps out
Just
of
gives
a
me
car
a jump.
at you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic piece of DLC. Again, I don't want to spoil anything.
People should play it.
So I don't want to talk plot, but it touches on a lot of genres, and I think it does really well. It shows all the confidence of a team that understands the game, the world, and what they're making, and it leans into the strengths of that extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
There is some really, really cool stuff. Like a list of things that I would say, and I love Cyberpunk. Like I've done a 180 on this game so hard. Like it's maybe one of my favorite video games ever made. Like
Yeah.
from a game I didn't want to touch when it first came out to now possibly one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah. Same.
If I was to make a short list of things that I was like, I wish something like this was in there, I feel like Phantom Liberty checks that box.
Oh, interesting.
Like the
yeah.
amount of times I did something or something happened where I was like, man, it would be cool if they did more with this in the game. It does it. So
I can
really,
say with
really enjoyed it.
like a lot of confidence that last week the thing we talked about was, boy, one thing about Cyberpunk, as much as I love it, is they never quite reach that introductory assault on the tower mission as well later. Like later on, nothing quite was as big as that, and they really played their cards early. I can now confidently say, even though I'm not even to the part John's talking about yet, Phantom Liberty has already provided a number of set pieces that have exceeded that in terms of scope and memory, and like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? It's very good. And it's funny you say confidence. There is a palpable sense of confident game direction. It feels different in Dogtown than other places in the game. And not that it's bad in other places of the game, but the other places in the game don't have what I'm feeling there, which is this very deliberate story point stuff. You were right about, by the way, the actors, none of them skip a beat. They all sound like they were in the same recording session when they did all this new stuff.
Really good. Like, and Idris Elba's got a presence, man.
Oh, big time.
Like, I've never felt really like intimidated by a video game character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not in a, like, I might be intimidated by the amount of hit points they have, or like, oh, I gotta fight this thing. But like, he just has a presence that is somehow conveyed through his model and delivery and the way you meet him and all of that. Like, there's just, again, there's something about it. There's just that weird magic to it.
There's a sense of there's a really cool sense of artistry too, with just some very simple things they could have skipped. Like when you need to be introduced to Idris Elba, this is not a spoiler. That has to happen, on his terms. So there's a thing where you're supposed to go meet this mysterious character, you don't know who he is, at a place where there are people just playing some pickup basketball, and there's a bunch of people watching it. And I won't talk about the Idris Elba part because it's not the part I want to talk about. What blew me away is that they did all that setup just for that moment, which is such a tiny moment, but such a crucial, important moment for the kind of relationship you're going to have with that character, the kind of character Idris Elba's playing. And they went to all of the extremes of having people mocapped playing basketball and having not just the same looped plays back and forth, but actually playing what looked like a very natural outcome of a game of pickup ball. And people are sitting up on giant risers and, very unsafe, un-OSHA approved locations to watch this game. And there's something about that entire setup where I went, you didn't have to do any of this. Like, this meeting could have been a text, but somehow you decided to go all in for it, and it really shows. And I really respect that a lot. Game's rad. Bo, where are you now? I know you haven't even touched the PL yet, the Phantom Liberty. It's still a Phantom.
I'm working my way through the gigs and the side gigs and the NCPD hot points.
Nice.
So I've cleared Watson, Japantown, Corpo Plaza, or City Center, I should say, Westbrook, and I'm working on Santo Domingo and the Badlands, and then I'll pick up the side quests again.
You probably have a lot of money, right?
I have 50 street cred. Yeah, I got like a ton of cars. I got I got a couple of hideouts. I bought one of the Corpo Plaza in City Center, which is nice. It has a coffee maker and a record player.
All the things you want. Man, I bought a car called the Avenger. I love the way that thing looks. The thing is so nice.
Yeah.
I love my car in that game. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm fully kitted out in Legendary Cyberware. I got 2 trees up to 20. Like I'm gonna go into Phantom Liberty as Maximum Merc. I just really need to remember the context and the immersion of the story before I head over there. So
I understand.
I didn't skimp. I'm not sure if that's gonna matter or not. It's hard to tell, and I've been avoiding spoilers. So really, it just whatever. I've always felt the game is out of order. I feel like you don't earn the rep you get right from the start, and it bothers me. So I usually go through when I play the game. The couple of times I've played through, is I always do the side missions and nobody gigs first and build my rep, and then do the story content.
You're a true RP guy in this case. You
doesn't feel right. I just hate it. Sometimes like in games when they don't account for a decision you make, it's like, okay, it happens sometimes, like, but it just doesn't feel earned. I just hate it. Like all of a sudden, all the most important people in the Night City job world know who I am.
Yeah.
Although Rogue puts it well at one point where she's just like, Like, I'm not putting you on jobs with anyone. The one job you had, you messed up so spectacularly that I can't. You have to work alone.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
mean, I
oh.
guess, and I'm not trying to say you're wrong. It's just my take has always been that you lucked into that job, that you were intended to be probably a bit of a patsy. Like, we never are really gonna know how Dex would have played it had you been successful.
Oh no, you were gonna get
But
shot. They were clearly a
but
patsy.
Yeah.
but like you were just gonna be a means to an end. And so I don't think it's really that crazy that you're in that situation. But I think the fact that you walked away, like the way they paint it, like there are even times where Johnny's like, you were crazy enough to go into Arasaka Tower, or not Arasaka Tower, but like to go after Arasaka like that. Like that takes balls. Like
Yeah,
like even he's
you
impressed.
walk
So
out of
to me,
there
the
and you're at
rep
level
was
3.
to me the rep was always like a case of
I have level 2 street cred. Like, I'm like, this makes no sense.
Fair point.
well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Is it's a case of you haven't earned it. You got it because you lucked into it.
Yeah.
And now it's time to
Like-
earn your reputation to it. That's how I always read it.
I understand that. It's a laziness that a lot of RPGs do. And I'll even throw that at Baldur's Gate 3. Right? Gale comes in, he's level 1. He's got a tower full of magical items. He's banging a god, and you're level 1. Like, it's something we just kind of accept because, like, it's a video game. But it's like,
game. Yeah.
he's not a level 1 character. If this is my campaign, Gale's level 13, and you've just met a high level character. Like, that dissonance of just being like, well, let's hand wave and make it so that, you have the good player experience, to me is just poor shit. So, like, that's why I get kind of grumpy about Cyberpunk too, because it's like, I'm a noob. And then it's like, there's a cutscene where I'm doing missions. I'm like, it's playing the game for me. Like, let me do that. When you and Jackie first, she's like, you're free, let's do jobs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I should be playing that. If I was consulted at the design phase, I would say, let me do the tutorial missions and learn to play the game and earn some rep, then get used as a patsy, right? Get fluffed up like you're so amazing. Although,
But then
it is
everyone would say
Kabuki
your
Tower.
game's too
It's-
slow. They would say, "Oh, this game's too slow getting started. It took us forever to do something
it's
fun."
not a Mickey. Well, I like, okay, so AAA development is we gotta front load it. Like, people are gonna play 3 hours and decide they're gonna hate it, so we gotta make sure to
Yeah.
make them. But it doesn't mean to make a good game. Like, I don't like it. Like, I'm just like, that's terrible. But hey,
I don't know if it's terrible. I think it's just part of it's the business. I don't know how else they do it. It's like a movie. You got to catch people early. You can't have too slow burn.
It's like I guess it's like it's a grognard thing, right? If you're level 1 in an RPG, you don't get to come from a magical superstar background where you have all this like crazy accomplishment, right? Like, I'm, I led an army and beat a kingdom and then, fought a dragon, and now here I am at level 1 in the tavern. It's like, no, if you did that stuff, you're level 10. Like, roll a level 1 character.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear that. That story can't be told out. So this is interesting because as a tabletop gamer like yourself, I think what you're saying makes perfect sense. And it can still be a really fun, if long drawn out introduction or longer ramp up or whatever. Like, that's a perfect analogy for that. But in interactive media or even just static media like films, television, whatever, I don't think they have that luxury, or they just lose people.
Well, in a TTRPG, you don't have to start at level 1. Like, you could sit down with a bunch of people and roll level 10 characters.
Right,
Like,
you
it's
have the
okay.
flexibility is my point.
You don't have to start at level 1. What I'm saying is just like the mechanics aren't just arbitrarily dropped in there. They mean something. So if you're a practiced wizard, then you're not level 1. You have learned magic. You have achieved a level of experience.
Sure.
And it should reflect what you are. Gale is not a level 1 wizard, but because game experience, they just shouldn't put a character like Gale that's so amazing in the back. I like Gale. I like the voice actor, all that stuff, but he does have, I don't know if there's a term for it, just like pretty boy
Annoyance.
syndrome, like, or something. I don't know, just whatever you want to call it. He's already amazing, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Karlach's been in hell for 10 years fighting things, but she's a level 1 barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't they make the case across the board that they've all been reset to a degree? Like,
I don't think so.
that
No.
I'm pretty sure that is in the game.
What, where they're like,
Yeah,
they used to be a big
Chat's
deal.
even saying it. His story explains why he's depowered. I'm pretty
So,
sure.
but why does
there
Karlach
is
not know how to
dialogue.
swing a hammer and throw gnomes? Like it makes no sense. They can hand wave. I mean, it's a game. Whatever. Who cares? I'm just saying it doesn't hit me as hard in Baldur's Gate 3, but it does bug me. But in Cyberpunk, it bugs me because it robs me completely of my agency. In
Well,
the
what?
story.
Let me ask you this: what if they did the Metroid tact of Prime or the 2D games, where you're a badass from the get go, and then almost every time, and you might even say this is trite. Some people,
not a role playing game.
no, but still,
don't
the
care.
point is,
Like,
like,
it's-
from a story perspective, you're a super badass chick in space, laying waste to everything, and then all that shit gets taken from you. You're more
Yeah, but like
form.
I'm what I say it's not a role playing game is I'm not getting into the role, so I don't care. You know, like I understand there's lots of hand waving and lots of narrative stuff,
Yeah,
right? Like that, like oh I lost my powers again. Like I get it, right? But when you're playing a role playing game, you're taking on a role, and I just feel when I'm putting myself in the position of the person with agency, then it's nice if the things you do are rewarded and progression makes sense
It's
versus
so
if it's
funny
a video
because I
game.
am the exact opposite of Bo on this. Like it actually bugs me more that you have to hand wave a bunch of stuff in Baldur's Gate than Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk makes perfect sense to me. And I think Baldur's Gate, I do the eye roll like, okay. Like chat room saying it right now. Gale's Orb ate his natural magic. Karlach is weaker because her engine doesn't work outside in Avernus. Will says the tadpole took away some of his powers.
But
like
she
I
doesn't-
see that and I understand that.
don't
And I'm
have
like,
level one of
okay,
experience.
I
Like,
get
it's
that.
not-
yeah.
you
But
can't-
like
your
to
life
me,
lived is your
to me,
experience.
Cyberpunk 2077 makes total sense. I don't think there. I do. Here's one thing I do wish for a sequel. I feel like there's a really cool moment early in Cyberpunk where you go to your Ripper dock and you're like, hey, I'm like, no more joking around. I don't want to be a run of the mill gonk. I need to get actual upgrades that matter. I wish there were more moments of that. I think that's a really cool moment where it's like, okay, you're not getting the greatest things in the world. You're getting an eye, you're getting a hand, and now post 2.0 patch, you're getting a skin upgrade to get some armor.
Right.
I think that's a really, really cool moment. And I do kind of wish that we saw more of that like, oh God, I've hit a wall and I need to go to a Ripper dock to be able to break through that wall. Like I do think that the game could use a little more extension in that regard where it's like, oh, I'm not hitting as hard as I should. I'm not doing this as hard as I should. Time to go get chromed up and feel stronger as a result of it.
Or even do
But
it as a story element, John. Like have it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be necessarily where you're treading water going, well, shit, I can't seem to beat anything right now. I guess I should go. I mean, that's one way of doing it. But I kind of like the idea of a mission pops up and it's like you can't finish it. And then at the end of it, you're like, I got to call Victor. And then you call Victor. And Victor's like, well, we should be able to do some stuff before we get over here and blah, blah, blah. And then you go find Victor and there's like a whole point to visiting him again and getting a better upgrade. Like do it that way narratively. But I agree. Like that would be.
I think that stuff's really cool. But to me, like the getting the job and going on the job and then kind of being well known, like the death of the Emperor is a big event, and that you kind of get quasi, like you're known as being a part of that, if not directly involved in some way. Like I don't think the reputation is out of nowhere. Stories are typically made about the exception, not the standard. Like your protagonist usually isn't the guy that had to do 100 regular ass jobs before he got recognized.
At that point, I've only got 2 weeks to live, and then I'm out here doing like daily gigs, stirring rep. Like I don't know, it's just weird. I don't like it. Like if I'm dying in 2 weeks, I'm like I'm gonna go see people I love and tell them I love. Like I'm skipping right to Johnny Silverhand and shooting myself, or something like that. Like it's It's like, because I'm like hanging out, like, so in my headcanon, I'm like, okay, this is stuff that happened before the big job, even though the game orders it differently.
So what I take from that, it sounds like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like your big not complaint, but your problem here is that the game isn't the pen and paper experience in that way. The game takes narrative and pushes you forward.
No. I'm a little tired of games that put you on a doomsday clock and then you have forever. Like it's. Baldur's Gate does it in a way, and and so does so does Cyberpunk. A lot of games do it, and I don't mind the clock, but
I hate timers.
the clock
I know it's
Yeah,
a
but-
guaranteed way to get me.
Yeah,
to
you want me not to play your game?
No,
Freaking
no.
F the timers. I can't do that
it's
shit.
not a timer. It's just you're on a doomsday clock. Like if someone tell it's going to happen at some point to all of us, we're going to get told we got a couple weeks to live, and we're going to hate it. But that's life.
Yeah.
And like in this role play, you're told, "Sorry, schmuck, you put the shard in your head, you're gonna die." And it's like, so now what happens is a panicked frenzy to find a solution, right? And same with Baldur's Gate. It's like you have an illithid. Somehow you're not changing, but you got a limited time left. So I'm like, well, let me just go hang out in the Underdark and kill bullets and minotaurs and
Yeah,
just
but
chat
see,
with
that's
this guy.
you.
Like,
See, that's you though saying, okay, so I think I understand. If you say
it
to the
undercuts
game,
the whole point of like the narrative drive.
I
Like,
get
I'm
it.
Like,
I get it.
I
If
don't
you
feel
mainline
panicked or
that
frenzied
game,
at all.
if you mainline that game, then you can maintain that sense, I think. But the game gives you this freedom to go do a bunch of other shit on the side if you want to. So you've just elected to take that gameplay advantage of there's other fun stuff to do if you're not really in the mood for the main story. That's breaking the immersion. Would you rather not have that option? And the first run of that game just makes you run through everything, and then at the end of the game, suddenly everything else opens up. Like how
I
would
just like
how would
rather
you do it?
have both, where like I have a period of not having the doomsday clock, and then once a certain, if the story tells me, oh, you're on a doomsday clock now, then you behave accordingly. Like
Yeah.
that's
Do you
all.
remember when Randy didn't go to Ice Crown because WoW didn't explicitly tell him to go to Ice Crown?
Yep, that was a thing.
And he actually didn't do it. And
Yeah.
like he actually was like, well, I'm not gonna go because nobody told me to go there. I have no reason to go there.
Yeah, because your character
I
can't
feel
go to
like-
Google and figure
I
out.
feel
Oh,
like-
I'm supposed to go to Ice Crown.
I feel like Bo is the exact same as Randy, except he's gonna do it anyway. Bo could play Cyberpunk in the stubborn, like, no, they told me I had a doomsday clock. I'm mainlining the story. If it's not offering me a solution, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But instead, he's like, but I gotta play the whole game. But at the end of the day, I still gotta play the whole
Fun.
game.
I like it. I'm enjoying it.
Sure.
I'm just
Yeah,
like,
you're having a good time.
it's not like none of it's a deal breaker, but we're on the show. We talk about our opinions. That's my opinion. I
Yeah,
think
no.
when I play it,
I think it's
I think
interesting.
it's valid. I'm
I'm
not
just a
trying to say
messenger.
it isn't. I
Yeah,
just
very
think-
valid opinion for sure. It's interesting to me though because I never really thought of it in those terms because most
I'm
games.
okay if people like it too, or you play it the way you want to play. I'm just
Sure.
explaining me.
No, I get it. Most games are funny because they all kind of give you a little bit of this freedom with some exceptions, and the exceptions are the ones I usually don't like. Like I don't like to be told there's a limit to my time to do a thing. I hate that unless it's a short sequence or something.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
But
too.
so I like the freedom of like, oh yeah, I can go do all this other side stuff. But you're not wrong. Like story wise, it is weird if you've been given a 3-week time frame and this chip's going to kill you. The last thing you would do is go help some cops and find some shit. Like
right. Why do
Right,
I care
yeah.
what Lizzie Wizzy's manager is doing behind her back
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I have who knows when I die?
yeah.
Like
And this is kind of
you
all
know.
open world, like, take a quest, go do things kind of games. Like you could say this about Assassin's Creed. You could say it about any number of these. GTA, same thing. There's always these crucial story points. And you're like, yeah, that's fine, but I'm going to go run over hookers and, buy guns and shake.
yeah, I think that's why I insist on playing that way, because I like the game. Even what John expressed yesterday, I love being in the world. There have been times where I'm just driving, and I don't even like racing games or driving games, but it's kind of fun just to turn on the radio and drive in the game. Like,
Yeah. I
I'm
agree.
like, so I want to enjoy the game without the doomsday clock. They've given you one option. Game starts, doomsday clock, you're gonna die. And it's like, well, can I have a period of time where I can play and just be in this horrifying world stress free?
I mean, you can.
And I get that
but
you can break immersion and say, "Yeah, there's no doomsday clock." I know you can,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
like to RP my game. I like to get into the game and say, like, if I'm this character, it's not necessarily me, but as this character, what are my decisions? What are my motivations? How am I emotionally feeling? My conversations with people, I'm starting to get not a lot of people have as much internal dialogue about decision making as maybe I do when I play. It's not a competition.
yeah.
And when things don't make sense like that, it's just, I find it, I'm like, you guys could have done better. If you're
Sure.
a dev listening to this, I'm sorry. You guys could have done better. Like, great game, 10. I'll give it a 10. slap a 10 on it, like I say. But you still could have done better.
Well,
And I
if
hope
enough-
the sequel.
Yeah.
I hope there isn't a Doomsday Clock in part 2. Like we did that. Let's do something different.
If
now,
they-
you know?
Yeah,
if
no,
they-
I would
I would
actually-
agree with that. I don't want to retread that, but maybe if enough people were, they got a sense that enough people either internally at CD Projekt Red or people like you, players like you, wanted this sort of thing. Maybe the next game, if there, well, let's just say another game does this, and there is some sort of constant reason that we got to hurry this up because the world's going to end or whatever, that you can choose at the beginning of that game and say, I just want to do that, and then leave all the extras till the end, and I'll deal with those for funsies. But right now, I want you game to make me, player, focus on what needs to be done here, and then later open it up. And then for all the rest of us who are just like, no, I'd rather just have it all, then let them do that. Like that seems like a choice you could make as a dev. You could build your game like that, and it'd be okay.
Yeah, I think it's the Doomsday part that bugs me. Not even so much that you do a big heist in the beginning. I think it's the Doomsday Clock most of all. Because even when you finish the game, you can still play the rest of the content, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it just
you're still
starts you
gonna
right outside.
you're still gonna
that.
die. Like
Yeah.
most of them are like hopeless endings where it's like, man, you got a couple of weeks, gonna drive off into the sunset with Pan Am, and we're gonna bang until I die. And that's
Ugh.
that's one of the endings. It's just like,
Oh, by the way, I found out there's a mod you can make it so that Judy will let me romance her even as a dude, but it's a mod you have to run, PC mod.
Are you gonna get a mod, Scott?
No,
I
because
thought
it
you
also
just wanted to protect her. I thought this wasn't about banging. at
I
all.
do,
thought
so I'm
you
not
just
gonna
wanted
do it.
to-
It cracked me up, and I thought about it for a minute, but then I also thought, well, that actually is weird. That's me taking this character I have got this empathy for and saying,
no,
I'm gonna make you be this thing. I'm gonna make you like what I want you to like. I'm not doing
basically
that.
you're gonna de-gayify her. That's what you're.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. That
Yeah,
sucks.
and you're kind of like, do I really want to reflect that to the world when I
No.
tell them what I did? You're like, I don't want to de-gayify.
I don't want to
anybody. I want
de-gayify
people to
anybody.
Be
Yeah.
what they are, exactly. Even though it's a fictional character, you're allowed to have whatever fantasy. In theory, you can tailor your fantasy however you want it, but still, it doesn't feel right, does
Yeah.
it?
Not
I'm
at
proud
all.
of you, Scott.
Yeah.
I think everybody at some point in their life has to come to terms with the person that they like just isn't that into them.
Yeah, I'm going to be a celibate. This is a celibate playthrough.
You're
Okay.
Oh,
Well, no, there's
Yeah,
joy
hold on
toys,
now.
dude.
No.
Like, you
I'm gonna no for real. I'm gonna do this. So like
can
I've
go,
got the
like,
whole
have a
thing.
night.
You know when you come to a bar and it's like a quest, and you sit down and they go, and the option is to drink or not drink or turn it down or whatever. I'm turning all that down. All the vices are getting turned down. When Johnny wants me to take a drag on a cigarette, F off. I'm not doing it.
I thought you already did it though.
In my first run I did, not in this one.
Oh.
You can, but there's still other options for you. You can let Johnny take over for a bit and have
Scott's
and-
gonna
and
be
hang out with
straight
Rogue.
edge. That is gonna be a problem though. Are you gonna let Johnny take over? Because what if he ruins your temple?
That's a good
Y-
point.
Yeah, he's gonna go after Rogue in a heartbeat as soon as he takes over. That man. has a
Well,
thing
as
for
long as I
Rogue.
don't have, if it's when that sort of stuff happens and it's out of my control, fine. I can't help it. But if it's anytime I have control over it, so what I'm gonna do is I just got a call. I've been out
Pan
there
Am's
and
great. I don't know why you can't stand Pan Am. It's just
can't stand her. She drives me up a tree.
I know.
And I got a bunch of emails this week. I'm not going to read them all, but a whole bunch of people are like, "Oh, I totally agree. She drives me crazy. I can't do it. She's too like freaking out 1 second, nice 1 second, freaking out again. Like that's a personality problem. It's not anything else. That's it." And I'm like, and she can, live out there with her friends out in the desert and do whatever she's got to do.
When she's no, I shouldn't say it. I thought it was something really chauvinistic to say. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to say that.
Thinking better of it now.
It's hard to hear her personality when she's bent over in the car fixing things.
Oh,
what I mean?
geez.
Like,
All right. Yeah.
It was like I'm a little distracted. I'm like, she's pretty good looking.
She's a very, very attractive computer lady, no question. But
It's a joke, everyone.
Yeah, it's a
But
joke.
it's a
Calm
very bad
yourselves.
Joke.
Calm
But
yourselves down.
I don't know. She does it. Her computer.
I mean,
thing
she's
does
a
it for me.
character that evolves. She grows. She doesn't. She starts
She
a little
grows.
rough around the edges, but you might find that given time, Judy doesn't like you that way. Maybe she
fine.
grows on you. Maybe
Yeah.
I mean,
you
look at it
bond
this
a
way.
little.
Mm.
Judy is like complicated, right?
Yeah.
She got feelings. She thinks about things. Pan Am's simple. She's like, are you loyal to her? You got her back. She's got your back, and she's loyal. She's really loyal, especially if you do the Pan Am ending. where you storm Arasaka with her. She'll send every one of the Aldecados with you and get them all killed for you.
Yeah.
You know, she's loyal, and it's like.
But here's my impression of her.
I'm like, I respond to that where I'm like, you know what? She's great. She's, you know, Judy might be wonderful to talk to, but Judy's gonna be like, it's complicated and drive off in the sunset when things get hard.
Yeah,
and
that's
stick
okay.
around when things get hard.
Judy,
you know what I mean?
Judy, when she calls me and she needs help, I feel it. I'm like, I need to help her. She is seriously in trouble now. I got to go help her out.
She won't. She might not stick around for you.
When Pan Am calls me, and let me tell you who Pan Am is. You go to a restaurant, you sit down, you're with somebody. They look into your eyes and they say, "Oh, I'm so glad we got this time to spend each other." But immediately after that, go, "Can we get some service here?" It's like that. It's that personality. I can't do it. I can't do it. She's not for me, man.
I think Scott's protective nature is going to make for his Phantom Liberty playthrough to be really interesting.
Oh, really?
Are there
Oh,
romances in PL?
It's a spy thrill. No, it's not about romance, but like, right?
Okay.
It's espionage. It's a spy thriller.
It's a spy movie,
yeah. You know, it gets its ties from James Bond and stuff like that. And I feel like straight edge runner. There we go. We got a name for your character,
Runner.
Scott.
Yeah.
I think straight edge runner is gonna roll in there and everyone is going to walk all over him because he's gonna believe everything everybody says.
Yeah.
And he's not going to question anybody's motives. He's just going to be like, but they told me.
Yeah.
They told me they needed help, and I should absolutely help them.
Yeah, my character will take them at face value. That's how V works in my world. So you're not wrong. I did want to mention one thing.
Experience, Scott. Get ready.
I found
that's a legit playthrough. You can go as like a body.
No, you can. You
Meathead.
absolutely
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, you can do all that stuff. I found a car I want to tell everyone about. Now, I'm sure there's videos out there. That's not how I found it. I found it by accident, but I was driving around in the warehouse district area, kind of out in the outskirts, and just happened to see a car parked in one of these these warehouses without walls. They're like covered garages almost. And I saw a car just sitting there and some people standing around it. And as I creeped up to it and got out to look at it, Johnny Silverhand appears and goes, "Hey, you ought to try to get that car, V," or whatever. And then he sat there and looked at the car.
Calrissian.
And then he "What have we here?" he says. So he tells me
Billy D. Williams is Johnny Silverhand.
he tells me this, and then he disappears. So it seemed like, oh, I think I may have found a little Easter egg here or something. And so I couldn't do anything at the time because I didn't have high enough car hacking or enough RAM shards to do it yet. And so I forgot about it for a while. But then I was back out in that area, and I went, oh, that car, because it's a badass looking car, like Mel Gibson era Mad Max looking thing. Looked real cool. And I wanted it. So I went back out there. I had the ability now. I was high enough in my stuff. And I hacked it, got it. And now I have my favorite car ever. And it's not one you can buy. It's the only way you can get it. You can't get it until after you go to the diner with Takamura that first time to have your little meeting. Once you've done that, this thing appears out there. And everyone should get it because that car is rad.
Can I tell you something that's going to make you sad?
What? Can
you
I
didn't
buy
have
it?
to get your hacking up.
Why?
Because if you look in like a pile of garbage right near it, somebody has
Shit.
abandoned a briefcase that has the keys to the car in it.
Are you serious?
Yes, I
always
have the
multiple
car.
ways. Always multiple
got
ways
it.
to the critical path.
Damn it. I thought I was like such a stud for doing this. I had to wait levels to get my hacking up. And then I went and
That's
did
still
it.
worth it.
It was worth
Yeah,
it.
you
In
still
fact,
got it.
I still couldn't get high enough to break into the car. I was just high enough to take remote control of the car. And once I did that, then the car opens and lets me in. But I never got the key. I didn't know the key was there. I'm usually pretty eagle-eye about.
I mean, I did that too. I paid a bum $2,000 for a briefcase, and I was like, of course the key's in the dumpster, like right near the corpse. Like it occurred to me after I paid the money. I was like, oh, something about the quest, you know, the way it shows the quest thing, like check the dumpster.
Yeah.
But I've got like $400,000. I'm just like, whatever, here's 2,000, whatever's easiest. I was like, oh, I probably could have saved the 2,000.
Damn, dude.
But
I guess
you
it
got your
happens.
hacking up, man.
Yeah, I
Look,
got
you
my
leveled
hacking up.
yeah, it'll be useful when you. So you don't know about tank
It's
sex,
a
right?
combat car too, so like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that's That's good.
Yeah, really good combat car. I love how it looks. The engine sounds rad. The interior is really cool. It's just a cool car, and
I believe it's a reference to somebody. I don't know who. I think
is
it
it?
might be like a I don't know if it's a NASCAR driver or what.
Henry Ford.
But yeah.
It's just a
Correct.
little anti-Semitic and believes the workers shouldn't get fair pay.
Oh, I thought he invented the Ford
He did.
truck.
He was also very anti-Semitic.
That's all. Okay.
He was
Yeah,
both
well,
those
sorry.
things. He invented the Ford Model T and then eventually the Ford Motor Company, but also he hated
Nice
the
reference,
Jews.
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah,
Jeez.
he didn't like the Jews.
So you don't know about tank sex then, right?
I'm sorry, tank sex. Let's get into
Yeah,
that.
about
What's
the
that?
Pan Am thing.
No.
So the Pan Am romance scene where you're banging, you're in a tank,
Okay.
and like the tank you can't see outside the tank, so you got to jack in, and then you can see out cameras out of the tank.
Okay.
So she jimmies the tank because you bang in the tank, so that
It's a
you
bang tank.
experience her sensations and she experiences your sensations. So you actually have a female orgasm and she has the male orgasm. It's cool. It's like really neat.
Didn't they
Anyways.
do this in?
I just mentioned it because like you're never gonna see that because you're straight edge runner now. So I just that might make you change your mind. Or
No, I
probably
don't
not.
need to. I'm good. That
Okay,
sounds
I
weird.
found the details on the car, Scott.
Okay,
the
go.
car is a tribute to Ken Block, who was
Oh.
an American professional rally driver.
Right, passed away
of,
recently.
with the Hoonigan Racing Division, which is why the car is called the Type 66 Hoon.
Okay. I didn't notice that reference at all. But he passed
Oh,
away recently,
who?
right? In the last year or something. I think he died. It's pretty recent.
Yeah,
Ken Block.
January 2nd, 2023.
Yeah, early this year. So
I
it
was
was
thinking
added in this patch,
Who-
I think. Yeah.
hoon should be like a thing we say, like you dumb hoon.
Oh, Hoon's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like for a sci-fi thing, not maybe in real life, but
Maybe
They
not
say
life work.
choom.
Choom, yeah, choom's a thing.
choom and hoon, you know.
Yeah. What's that sound in comic books, John, where it's like the biggest explosion is always like a choom.
Like Kachoom or
Yeah.
Choom.
Choom. Yeah,
Yeah.
they love that one in comics. Well, there it is. Cyberpunk, still rad, still great. Playing the shit out of that. For what time we had this week to play it. I didn't have a ton of time for games this week, so when I did play, it was that. And today, a friend of mine gifted me a copy of Assassin's Creed Mirage, and that was really nice of that friend. Very good friend of mine.
Is that game out?
Yeah, today. Came out today. Or
Oh.
last night, I guess. Last night, midnight or 10 or something.
Interesting.
It is. I only did the first bits. I did some of the early story stuff and heard the prologue and the kind of what's going on with this Basim guy, who does make an appearance in Valhalla at some point. I don't remember the context of that, but this is his story. This is the one set in Baghdad. It is also their attempt to dial the Assassin's Creed games back in a couple of ways to what they kind of were before. So gone in this game is the leveling and the sort of color loot stuff. Basically the Witcher 3 stuff, they took all that out for this game. It's a lot more like, say, I don't know, Black Flag or, that era of these games. A much bigger and a return to stealth gameplay, unlike Valhalla, which was a lot of yelling Vikings running around, a lot of sword play and stuff. This is a lot more like sneak up, stab a guy, shank that dude, skills and abilities to help you pull that stuff off. Even some things that felt a lot like Agent 47, the Hitman games. There's a lot of some of those ideas in there. I'm early enough where I haven't really been able to experiment with all the new mechanics, but it already feels like a return to those ideals for the game. The one part that's got me just a tiny bit concerned, and it is a little bit less, it's $10 less than you would have paid for Valhalla. Valhalla, in the end, was something like 200 hours of content. This is somewhere between, depending on who's playing it, somewhere between 12 and 18 hours. So it's a much shorter game. Much more concise, much more crafted, less open world. Lots of, there are big open places to just ride your camel for many, many miles. It's just, a much more controlled sort of experience. I'm not worried about it. I do like collecting all the crap in these games. And I kind of like that at the end. If I beat the game's story, it's kind of fun to go back and tinker around. But everything since really Odyssey, the games have gotten really big. And this game is decidedly and purposely not that big. So we'll see.
I mean, even Odyssey was gigantic.
Oh, Odyssey was so freaking big. It was a massive. Odyssey was massive. Like the first one, the first one with the RPG elements and the kind of all those changes. Origins was still bigger than this, but not that big. I think that took me 40 hours to beat. Whereas Odyssey, well, I still haven't beat it, and I put, I don't know, 100 something hours in it already. Same with Valhalla, didn't beat it, put 100 something plus hours in it. Those games are huge. They're too big. This is not that big. So whether or not I will be satisfied at the end of, say, 15 hours on average or 16, whatever it ends up being, I don't know until I get there. But I think that will be an interesting thing to talk about when I do. But huge thanks to my friend for the copy. And so far, beautiful game, runs great, no issues. I'm playing it on PC. What else can I say about it? Characters seem fine so far. Again, it's early, so I don't have a ton to say. But Assassin's Creed Mirage out in the wild.
It's getting really good reviews.
Mhm.
For me, I mean, this game is like this game is a prime example of not every game has to be for every person. Like basically everything they've done to this game is a like, oh well, that's not for me, kind of decision. So I think this is probably the least interested I've been in an Assassin's Creed game in a long time. But by all accounts, it's getting very good reviews. People seem very excited about it. And I do think, I will say the one thing that I do agree with is I do think they needed to get smaller in scale.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they needed to go this far, but they certainly needed to go to rein it in a little bit.
Yeah, I think I would have been more. I don't know. I don't know. I don't actually know what I want. Like I think whenever you think of more, you think, well, that's great. It's more value for the money I spent. If I spent $59 for this game, make it as big as you can. And therefore, I get maximum value because you made it huge, whether I play the stuff or not. Like there is that thinking we have as I think regular gamer people who are spending money on these experiences. But then part of me is like, some of my favorite games have been ones that were concise and designed to be in a certain length, and you can accomplish that without being a freak or spending years trying to tick off all the boxes. So I don't know. This is just weird because that's not what these games were building to, right? They stopped being this after probably 2, and they became what we have previous to this up to Valhalla, and now it's kind of back to that. It's kind of weirdly brave of them to do this because I feel like a lot of fans who maybe really liked the new direction are going to be like, wait, what are you doing? Is this like a weird standalone thing? Why is it almost full price? I mean, to their credit, it is a little less for what is still supposed to be a AAA game. So I don't know.
I like the chat comment. I want to point it out because I think it's worth mentioning. John's not interested in the sneaky stealth game? ? Yeah, I actually don't like stealth games. I know I play a rogue and everything. I know I play stealth and everything. I think games built around stealth and sneaking are usually bad.
You like Hitman, though, right?
I do like Hitman, but I also think Hitman does a decent job of avoiding a lot of the tropes of it. I'm not going to say blanket all of them, but like there are exceptions. Early Hitman games I don't like, but the more recent ones I do.
Yeah, same.
I just usually when stealth is an option, it feels like a reward in the same way that if you did a strength build in a game and you power through everything, that feels like a reward. Or, I did a techie hack build for something and I hacked everything. Like that feels like a reward. When the goal and objective is to be stealthy and sneaky, and that's how you are supposed to play it, it usually narrows it down and makes the gameplay frustrating for me instead of rewarding. And that's the best way I can describe it. Not how everybody's going to feel. Obviously, again, this game's getting a lot of praise. People are really excited about it. But I tend to like stealth as an option instead of the design.
I could see that. I like stealth a lot. Sam Fisher, this stuff. I don't know. I'm a sucker for it. I like that there's some pretty good stealth happening in Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty expansion, I think. And that game I haven't played very stealthy the first time, but I'm doing it more this time. I like that stuff. I like taking down
Yeah, I
cameras.
mean, and
and
it's
then,
great when it's an option.
Right.
I got
right.
to a mission the other day in Cyberpunk where they told me to do it stealthy. They're like, you have to. And I was like, I immediately got caught. I immediately got mad at the mission and I just ran through it and shot everybody. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. And like, again, I've played the entire game as a stealth character, but the second the game was like, no, this is what you have to do. I was like, bet me. I'll do it my way. I'll pay whatever price. Turns out the price was a surprise, but you know, I was just like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I totally get that. Real quick here, there's some narration at the beginning of this thing that I think is interesting. I just want to play a little bit of it because I have a theory. So here we go. Hold on. Turn this up. Okay.
You asked me once about this memory. I lied. I told you it was lost. I worried the wrong lesson would be learned. But this man lived many lives, and he has much to teach us. Of course, when he came to us, he was little more than a common thief, scrambling to survive on the streets of Baghdad.
All right, let me skip ahead just a tiny bit here. Hold on. Sorry, because this is a little bit long.
But for all those he saw suffering on the margins of the Abbasid Caliphate,
Hold on.
the Order of the Ancients fought to rise and spread their cruelty through the land. The Hidden Ones, as we were known then, resisted eternal struggle.
Okay, almost there.
Basim ibn Ishaq. He honored the creed. He challenged it. So must we. We have it in all of us to mistake the shadows we walk for the light we serve. The time may come when we will be tested as he was. I fear that time is coming soon.
Okay, here's my theory. Sorry it took so
Okay.
long to get there. It's a minute and a half into that intro. It's actually a really cool intro. They did a great job with the stuff there, I think, this time around. It's really evocative. But while they're doing this, they're showing a lot of imagery of like future-y looking, you know, some of the Animus kind of graphics and stuff. It's not showing the future, but it's showing the Animus stuff. Or Animus? Animus? I think that's them saying, I'm going to take that as a hint that they are going to eventually do an Assassin's Creed game that is 100% in the future, post all these memories in the world where all this comes to fruition and they got to fight the ultimate fight, and there's going to be a game based on that, which everyone's been saying since the beginning of this series 15 years ago. I think it's coming, and I think that's the hint right there.
Maybe. Does anybody actually want it though?
I don't at all. I don't
Like
want
that's to me the big question is like everything's always building to something, and then you know, but you do have to ask yourself, like, at the end of the day, is that a game anybody wants to play? Like, I feel like at the time, early in Assassin's Creed, yes, my answer would have been 100% yes, that's what I want.
Right.
And somewhere along the adventure, I went, you know what? I just like picking the historical era that I'm into and playing that. And
Yeah.
the less they talk about modern day and the Animus, the better.
Yeah.
And so the idea of a game based all in the quote unquote future, I'm like, okay. No.
Yeah, they would have to really get interesting with it.
They'd have to find a way.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they've been leaning into it enough to have found that yet.
Yeah.
But
Because these games, their clear strengths have been since day one. When stuff is set in the past, they're kind of wonderful. Even the weakest of the entries, because it's like, wow, what if and look at the recreation of these ancient cities and these beautiful vistas and like these concepts. That's one of the great things about the series. But at the minute a girl wakes up out of a electronic coffin unit with electrodes to her head and says, "Oh man, we just learned something from the thing we got," I'm like, oh shit, why are you doing this? Why? You can even treat every one of these games like it's a BD, like it's a brain dance from the future, but just do the whole thing and cap it with some interesting thing to say at the top like this, and then put some at the end with something interesting to say, but make that whole game just me and Baghdad dropping off of trees and stabbing dudes in the neck.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I think they should do for the next Assassin's Creed?
Mm.
Assassin's Creed Velociraptor.
Shit.
Oh, you're in the dinosaur kingdom and you're an assassin velociraptor?
Yeah.
You got to take out cavemen and dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Well, it's historically accurate. There'd be no cavemen. It'd just be dinosaurs.
That's
I
right.
think.
They would have to assassinate other dinosaurs. They were
Yeah.
pulling.
Oh, and the dinosaurs all speak because you can understand dinosaur. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the common tongue of dinosaur.
Yep.
I love that idea. This is something that if this was a 90s thing, like let's go back to like Dino Crisis era or whatever, I could see them making a game like this. It wouldn't be that crazy. I don't.
I
think
mean,
they'll do it now.
who's the first assassin to make the creed? Has that even been answered?
Yeah, that's Bayuk or whatever his name is from
Biden.
Origins. Yeah,
Biden. Yep.
Tim
what's his
Hortons?
name? B-Duck? Burduke?
It was Biden. He sat up. and
Not
went,
Biden.
Gonna get him.
Dark Brandon. Hold on, let me look it up here. What is his name? Bayek.
Bayek founded the order.
Well, he's the first assassin in the group, and he
Assassin's Creed: Cain and Abel is one mission. It's real short.
Cain was the original assassin.
It's just a single mission. You press right stick to crouch. You go up behind him and you get him.
Yeah.
You can make a mobile
Then
game
you
where
get an end cutscene.
you keep doing it, but Kane keeps having more hit points, so you got to buy microtransactions to do more damage.
That's a
to
great
keep up
idea.
with.
Oh, I totally forgot to tell you guys I've been playing that you just reminded me of it, that Final Fantasy 7 spin out mobile thing. What's it called?
Ever Crisis.
Yes. It's actually kind of good. I'm not going to get into
It's
it
on
here.
Steam. It's on Steam now, though, right?
Oh, is it? I don't know. I've just been playing it on my phone.
Yeah, I think they ported it to PC.
I mean,
is that a dream?
it's gotcha as hell. It's it's all that, but they recreate like chunks of the story from 7 and the offshoot one that was on the PSP. I forgot the name of that.
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core, and they have all these different sword types, and you have these. I've already fought Sephiroth in a fight that makes no sense that I'm fighting him, but I'm doing it anyway. It's kind of good. I don't know. Like as much as it's definitely one of those games you're trying to collect everything and unlock everything.
You just haven't hit the Ding Desert yet, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely have not. Wherever that is, I'm not there, and I'm playing it pretty casually. But it's
Okay,
fun.
so Crisis Core people have recommended to me. I'm not sure if that's different than Ever Crisis.
Oh no, that is different.
All I'm here to say is I'm only here. I'm like a mainline Star Wars fan when it comes to Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Only want the main stuff. The side quests, games, I'll pass.
Well, Crisis Core was what, a PSP game? That's a whole other thing.
They re-released it in 2022.
Yeah.
And it's on Steam as a new, like, updated graphics business.
Right. Ever Crisis is this mobile gotcha game. And
only mobile? I guess it's not on PC.
I don't think it's on PC yet. Although, it does say it's coming to PC, and that was as of September 27th. So I don't know when that's supposed to happen.
It's like kind of like their Genshin Impact, basically.
But you know what you'd like though? It's done in the style. Okay, so all the story bits are the top-down view, kind of older-looking rendered backgrounds, the chibi-looking characters from
Like
7 on the
retro.
PlayStation.
I'm on the website looking at it, so.
But then the fighting's like the new games. They're all like big rendered versions.
I mean, I've got troubles enough as it is on the microtransaction side of things. I'm playing Warcraft Rumble, which is not in the notes.
Yeah.
And I've hit a pretty strong Ding Desert, and the misgivings are high. It's just awful. Like, Warcraft Rumble's great. Like game, like we said I said Diablo Immortal was a 10, but the microtransaction side makes it a 0, and it's a critical fail.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here too. My fun is at a stop unless I whip out my wallet.
Yeah.
And like it's not even a little egregious. It actually just gets mega egregious, and it's too bad because they put Blizzard quality on this thing. The minis, you'll see, it's out in the 3rd. I think it's releasing
November 3rd, right?
soon. Yeah, for you guys in the States.
Yep.
And you'll see. You'll probably give it a try. Maybe John, good chance he won't. But you're gonna download and
I'll
try. It's a Blizzard
I'll try
release.
Yeah.
You're gonna see. It's like kind of cute, fun. It's great to play on the shitter and on the bus and stuff like that. Like it's a one-hander. Like it's not. It's good, and it scratches that itch that you would think mobile games would, except also it wants your wallet. And
Yeah. It wants it badly.
You can go into World of Warcraft and collect little figurines in WoW soon too.
I'm just like, I've got to uninstall Snap.
That's true.
Snap is something I played previously, and I'm like, I basically am just giving Ben Brode $15 a month every time there's a season pass. I bought a season pass at the beginning of the month. I played it maybe twice this month. I'm like, what am I doing with my money? Come on now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give a person $15 a month, you can do a lot worse than Ben Brode.
Yeah.
It's no offense to
I
Ben
agree.
Brode. I want to play the game. That's all. I don't give McDonald's $20 for nothing. Expect some calorie-laden hamburger for the money or something.
I expect to die vaguely sooner for my $20, please.
I heard the Steam
Exactly.
version of Snap's pretty good now. Like it's all updated and like pretty and widescreen.
Yeah, I played it on the PC client as well, but
Yeah.
it's just there's 1,000 games. Like right now, my problem is not
It's too much.
access to games. My problem is my lifetime is limited. I'd like to fill it with the quality experiences I don't want to miss.
Has a doomsday clock, and he doesn't have time
Yeah,
for your
well,
gaming junk food to go do NCPD bus. He's gotta deal with the relic in his head.
I mean, do I really want to play Snap for 1 year just to finally earn enough free space points to get a variant card? It's like when you think about it in the long term, you're like, this is depressing.
Yeah,
What a
kind of.
depressing affair.
Yeah.
This low effort gameplay that they're offering is, and the whole industry is built around. It's built on what is it? House of like a matchbook.
House
or
of
something?
Cards.
Like
It's House of Cards, right?
it's a house of it's not built on solid foundationals, and and everyone's screaming at them that it's there for everyone to see in every form possible, but they can't help but be that the tiger is a tiger, I guess, and they're just eating themselves at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wait,
sorry I got on a rant. All that to say, Ever Crisis looks amazing.
It
but,
is. It looks great.
I
but
got to
you're-
try my best to pass on this.
Yeah, I don't blame
Please.
you, and I also think you're right. The long term is depressing, regardless of what these games are. I guess I think Square did a good job of translating music, characterization, and fun story beats to a kind of what if kind of scenario, because
Maybe
it is
it
playing.
doesn't have a ding desert. Maybe it's a good
Maybe, I don't
sometimes
know.
sometimes they fail and let one through. Like that, sometimes they have bad monetization and the game's just actually good.
Yeah.
I'm sure they think of Heroes that way.
And it's basically the combat. The combat's kind of what's the stuff called since 6, John? That all the Final Fantasies used for a long time. What was that called? That combat system?
Turn-based or active time battle?
Active
Is
time
that
battle.
one?
That
Yeah.
there's a sense of that here, because it is turn-based, but it's also active time battle, which really is just a fancy way of saying a cooldown.
Yeah.
So it works a lot like that, and it's cool. I don't know. I had some fans write in and say, Sky, you got to try it. I know you're not even that big into the series, but you should check this out. And I played it, and I check it out about once a night. Just hop in there, kill a few things, and it's
That's your
always
once
like
nighter on-
it's a
for
lot of
this
what
one?
if stuff, Bo. It's like, hey, what if Cloud had to fight this guy who's not even in his game? Like, but it's handled in a way that isn't weird or feel disjointed. It feels pretty smooth and good, and they tell a lot of story. You can skip it all if you want, but I don't know. It's all right. It's okay. I'll say that.
I have no doubt. I will the few mobile games I've played, they all seem to put a lot of quality into them. Like I got 3 on the go. I got
Yeah.
Mighty Doom, which I like quite a bit. Do you have Mighty Doom yet?
I
in the
do. I
States?
like Mighty Doom a lot. It's here in the States now. so.
I like Mighty Doom's good on the shitter, except maybe you stay too long and get pins and needles on your legs, and that's
Yeah.
no good.
You don't want that.
Snap is good, and Warcraft Rumble's in there now too.
Yeah. Well, wait, November 3rd, everyone, or whatever it is.
But maybe I'll give this one a try now. I don't know.
Give it a shot and let us know what you think.
How is it for one hand? Is it good one hand or is it gotta be two hands?
It's a side holder, so probably better with 2 hands. Do you know what I mean? It's like landscape.
I know what you mean.
Instead of holding this vertical or whatever.
Okay, yeah. So backbone friendly.
Oh, very, yeah. And I think it uses. I think
That's
it
the
lets you.
problem. I have the backbone. Most of the games I play are like the backbone makes it harder. I'm like, I actually need a game that backbone
Yeah,
helps with. So this might
be
this is
it.
a good one.
I can't confirm for sure because I haven't tried it on there, but I think it would be. Okay, here's the other thing I did. You know, once in a while I come to the show and go, hey, Scott tried every Warhammer game he owns because he got in a weird mood, or he played
I love
15
those.
Japanese MMOs for no reason because he just got in the mood. Well, I got in the mood. And it's Doom's fault. It's also Cyberpunk's fault in a weird way. But I went on a bit of a tear. What was this, last Sunday, I think?
I like your categorization of these.
I don't know what else. I don't know why I do it. I just every once in a while I get in this mood and I just have to do it. I feel like John does this with like I don't know. He did something like this recently with a genre, and John went crazy with it. We probably all have.
I
our
did it
moments.
with I did
Yeah.
it with Vampire Survivor. Like,
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that. Yeah, I did a similar thing with that. So here's what I did. I wanted to find all the cool retro looking shooters. That includes, by the way, Brutal Doom. I don't know if either of you have played the mod for Doom, original Doom, called Brutal Doom. It kicks ass. It's basically just everything amped up, blood everywhere. The guns are insane. You can play all of Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 64. All those games can use it. And it's amazing. So that's kind of where I got started with this. And then I ended up playing a Medieval, which is a little more Quake-like, but definitely a retro kind of Quake thing. They added ray tracing to that. It looks amazing.
There's a VR version too.
Yeah, there is VR. I saw that. I was going to ask you if you would ever try
I
it.
have it wishlisted. I haven't tried it.
I wonder what that's like in there. It's so fast-paced. It's got to make you sick. I don't know how it would work, but maybe it'll work. And you're really you're immune
Not
to
me.
that. So yeah,
I got a cast iron stomach.
Bo
for VR.
lives there.
that's right.
You
Yep.
only visit VR. Bo has made it his home.
It's his home.
Hate spiders. Love getting hung upside down.
I also play. I won't spend time on each one of these so much, but Blood West is amazing. It's again very retro, kind of Quake-ish sort of thing. I played a game called Post Void, which the reason I checked that one out was only $3. Number one, number two, it seemed like a quick pick up and play thing, and it seemed crazy. And the guy who made Hotline Miami says it's his favorite game. So I thought, well, I want to know what that guy likes, so let's try it. Post Void is a rip in the pants, man. It's a first person shooter where you just got to keep killing dudes, running through these generated hallways that look like you're on some kind of crack. You're on drugs, I guess. I don't know. And you try to get to the end of it, and if you do, you get 3 little roguelike options like more ammo. Your gun has a bigger spread. You can dash now, whatever. Choose one of those, do another run, choose 3 more, do another run, try to beat all your scores. It's very short, very fun. $3. Amazing, weird freaking thing. And I can see
Is the
why.
level as trippy as it
Post
looks?
Void looks wild.
It's wild, you guys. It's nuts. I don't even know how to describe it. I should be putting video up for the chat. It's so crazy to this game. Go look it up, everybody. Post Void on.
Well,
on
you
Steam.
put an image of me just staring at the trailer.
Post Void looks like I'm too afraid to actually do drugs. What can I do instead?
Yeah, can I do something other than drugs? Because good lord. But you
What
can
is that in your left hand? Is that a heart?
Oh,
you
so
hold?
that is a heart, and in that heart is like your survival juice. So
Like one of the fingers is like caressing it, kind of.
yeah, kind of flicking and going. "Rrr." And if you kill a guy, when you kill a guy in one of these hallways, his life essence fills some of that heart back up. If you don't make kills, it runs out relatively quickly.
This is like Crank, the Jason Statham movie, a little bit.
Kinda.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's a fair way of putting it.
makes me
You
think
can
of
get
that.
different guns. He just got an Uzi in this video. It's the Hotline Miami guy obviously likes this. Like the minute I saw his review, I went, "Oh, I should check this out." And then I went and looked, and I went, "Well, duh." I mean, this is kind of his jam. This is his whole life. But it uses sprites.
This is his life.
This is his life. This kind of thing. It's just a really cool little package. Overwhelmingly positive reviews on it. The price is
Surrealist is probably what you're going for. There's nothing. It has continuity, but there's nothing about it that's like you were in a facility on Mars.
no, none of that. Yeah, this is just
here's
like
color. It's just here's colors.
It's just
here's
go.
shapes and colors.
And
go.
once you get the hang of it, I played it with keyboard, mouse, and with controller. Both worked really well. It's like Doom on drugs. I don't even know how to
That
describe
other
it.
one. Did you? Okay, so I don't know if you've played this or not, but it's been on. I think I wishlisted it at one point. I guess I took it off. Why did I do that?
What's that one?
A game called Hyper Demon.
Oh yeah, Hyper
Have
Demon.
you played Hyper Demon?
No, I played a game
Check
called.
that out on Steam and tell me if it's a little too abstract. But if you played Post Void, I mean, this might
Hyper
jam your boat.
Demon. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is right along the lines of what I was digging through. This is great.
Yeah, like it's
this
some
looks
kind
like
of an
a trip.
arcadey first-person shooter, but also drugs.
Wow, look at
kinda-
that. I don't even know what to make of that.
So it's like kind of very positive, but it was overwhelmingly positive for a long time. PC Gamer says a masterpiece that will have you soaring like an angel through the depths of hell. It looks interesting. I just never clicked on it.
It looks wild. I don't even know what to
If you-
make of
if
what
you
I'm
get
seeing.
I don't know if you're still trying shit. I'm curious. I'm curious about this one. I will be listening.
I just wish listed it, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
I played a game called Post Void. I mentioned Cultic, very cool story-based Doom-like thing. I like Cultic a lot. That one is a high recommend for me, although harder. There's a lot of like, oh, I don't have enough ammo.
This is 3D Realms.
Yeah, it's 3D Realms put this one out. They're doing a lot of this lately. There's a couple I still want to get, like Ion. And this may actually be a version of 3D Realms' original. What was the engine Duke was in? Duke Nukem 3D. Shit.
I forget the Spider Engine. Shit.
Definitely not that, but I like that. Can't remember the name of the damn engine. Anyway, whatever it was, someone in the chat will say. I think it's that or a modified version of that. A bunch of these are that I tried this week. I tried another indie title called Hyper Violent. It's not even out yet, but I got a key just in a list, and I was like, what is this? And I went and tried it, and I really liked it. That's like space horror, but again, very Doom looking. These things are big right now, apparently. This is like a huge deal, this kind of game. And I'm here for it.
Kind of game that has nothing. The shooter game that has no words which rhyme with it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Cultic also overwhelmingly positive for Cultic. That one's doing really well. And then I went back to Metal Hellsinger, which John I know played a bunch as well of that. And that game's freaking great. What a great game that is. I love that game.
No, it's not one that I would count as in your list. And I don't think I put it in the news. However, there is an update to Darktide again today.
Oh, what do we got there?
As it is a shooter where they redid the class. They redid the class skill trees and added some stuff.
Oh, and put it on
class overhaul patch.
They included a good sale too. It's down to $25 for.
I know it may be getting a little annoying. It's like, stop trying to make this game a thing, but I like it. I like this game. Yeah. I'm going to be downloading and checking it out. But it is a shooter.
Well, recent reviews are definitely on the uptick. People seem to like the changes. Let's see. This game's pretty unfair shake early on.
That's my review.
Is it?
Yeah. I can tell you that's. I'm like,
oh yeah, there you
probably
are.
See your friend's reviews at the top.
Yeah,
so,
recommended by your friend Bo. Here, everybody, look at Bo. Look at Bo with his.
Oh, you're muted, John. John wants to.
You're muted.
I was just saying the same thing. That's funny. Y'all came to the same conclusions as me, but yeah, I was reading Bo's review, and Scott at the same time started saying what I was reading, and I was like, "The hell is going on?"
Oh, weird. I don't like that feeling. Anyway, I didn't put it on the list, but I also played more of that awesome 40K retro shooter we all played, Bolt Gunner, or Bolt Gun.
Oh,
yeah.
Warhammer Bolt Gun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I played some more of that. I played more Proteus. I played more. I even got it just to see what people are doing in Doom 2016's Snap map thing, because people still make maps in there. So I checked out some of that. I just got in a mood for like old school blow shit up arena shooter stuff, and was having a blast with these. So much fun. My big picks though out of all the list is, here are my favorites. My top 5 are Proteus, a Medieval, Cultic, Bolt Gun, and what was the other one? Well, that's my top 4. I can't think of the other one that I liked as much. Post Void also very good. Yeah, Post Void, I put that in there.
Post Void, you probably put Post Void up there.
Yeah, that thing's a trip, man. Great little game, great Steam Deck game too, by the way.
A Medieval's neat, has a neat title because it's like also a medieval.
Yeah.
It's a medieval, but a medieval.
A medieval, yeah. And those guys, they make that thing. That's a pretty special game. Like it is very, you'll look at it and go, oh my gosh, Quake and Hexen had a baby. There it is. If you turn on ray tracing, it's just kind of mind blowing, but it's low res
3,
too.
I guess it's gonna be on the Quest 3.
Yeah, you should try that. You should try it and tell me how it is, because it is fast paced as hell. It just feels good. I miss those days. That was a big part of my gaming life, and I miss those games. So
just pressing W and shooting.
Yeah. And if you're like, you know what, I just want some basic ass Doom. Brutal Doom is so cool.
Yeah, you don't mod very often. I was like, you were like asking people for help, like, how do I install the mod?
Yeah, I went nuts on it for a couple days, and it is such a cool.
Is it just the same game? Like you just play the same game, but with more blood, or
more blood, more guts, more? I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, here, I'll give people a taste. Here's your so here's the menu. You guys getting in. All right, listen to the sound on this thing.
Oh, love that song.
I think he's doing God mode, so he doesn't die. The first gun you get is that gun. Hold on.
It plays like Call of Duty, more or less.
It's a lot harder. The game is brutal.
Yeah.
The guns have down sights, which is crazy. It's the same engine. It's just a mod. The first gun you get is like a machine gun that just rips through people and tears them new buttholes. It's just like total, like everything's amped up to feel more like maybe modern Doom even. Kind of that's what it feels like to me, as they were aiming for that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh, it looks sweet, man.
Mouse control, all this shit you want from a keyboard and mouse. Like,
does it work with other mods? Like, because that Voxel Doom's a thing too, which it's just, instead of it being like bitmap based, everything's voxel,
right?
Like
little cubes,
like
and stuff.
Valheim. Yeah. I like that one. Looked interesting.
Yeah, that one looks really cool. I was having so much fun playing through just Doom, just straight up Doom again. It's fun, and mouse
it's a classic, man.
Mouse look is a thing I never had back then. That wasn't the way you played it. There was no mouse look.
Brutal Doom has mouse look.
Oh hell yeah, it feels good too.
Really?
Feels
that's cool.
You know, you played Proteus and liked that, right? It's like,
yeah, it has mouse look. If you forget, but when you go back and play Doom, you're locked. Like if someone's high up on a ledge, you just automatically shoot high. You can't actually aim your mouse up. Like,
right.
You know, free look is like, oh, that's huge.
And there's a map. They have a map overlay if you want it. There is the grenades just put blood all over everything.
And you play like, is it just the base game, or is it like the extra?
All that stuff. Any WAD that was ever made for Doom, any standalone game.
Okay, so it
all of
functions with like, yeah, okay.
It just works as a shell on
like
top of
everything.
everything.
Total conversion mod kind of thing, where it just converts the.
Yeah, and GZ Doom is the base that I use for it, but you can use any version of Doom as long as you have the WAD files and all that. Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 64, all the X packs. There was one other one that maybe worked with it. I can't remember the name now.
Oh yeah, the blood sprays are great. Holy shit.
Yeah. And you can also punch and kick now. I forgot about that.
Oh my God.
It is rad, dude. I was having so much fun with this. So if you haven't tried it, it's all free. You can find it all out there. Just
there's even like an infrared site. Like, I don't know why this game would need it, but you have or not infrared. Is it infragreen? Ultraviolet green? You know, the green shit. But yeah.
I know what you're saying. The
like night vision.
Night vision, right? I don't know what you use it for either. I never use it for anything, but it's just.
I'm like, it's not really needed in Doom, but okay, we got it here.
Same team, I think it is, are working on a Quake 2, brutal Quake 2, which is like a same idea, like take this to the next level kind of stuff. It's just rad, and there's a lot of cool like mods people are making and weird total conversions, and this can lay on top of a lot of those, not all of them depending how much programmatically has changed, but I went down a real rabbit hole and had a lot of fun, so, and it brought back a lot of memories.
A lot of these old school games too are playable in VR with side quests. It's just I can never figure out how to get side quests running.
Yeah.
Whoa, the effects on the
I know
we're watching
the explosions,
something different, but like
like the barrels.
The barrels, like the toxic sludge too, is like
they fly all over the place, and you can reload your guns, which was not a thing in Doom.
Oh yeah, that was like that's also weird. That's also not in Doom. Yeah,
it's nuts. You got to play it. It's really fun. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, that is what I played. Let's dive into John's playthrough this week. We got a brief match is brief. What? Oh, you're just going to tell us about what happened. What happened on Frog Wrestling? That's what I'm trying to get to here.
Oh yeah, I'm.
Bo was there. He was there for it.
Yeah. How'd it go?
There's
I
a
hate
bit of
this
melancholy about it.
I hate this curse of if you're wrestling, you're gonna lose. Like, what is that?
Well,
Like if you're
Scott keeps winning is part of the problem. I mean, he's doing all right. Well, last week, Bo issued a challenge to Scott that was accepted. It was to have a Hell in the Cell match to avoid any interference and to eliminate Scott's power of the jorts and Bo's power of the VR headset. It was determined that these should be fought in tighty whities only. And the call was answered. And so Scott and Bo duked it out in the Hell in Cell in tighty whities.
and I accepted the fact that you wore socks, even though that
oh, do you think that was
I was kind of an exemption, but I get it. You didn't want to get germs on.
I mean, Bo got his bandages, which would have probably helped him had he done the taint no thing, but he did not. He opted not to go for it.
It retains taint flavor and cotton.
It does. It does. They're taint absorbent bandages. Scott, you did wear socks because I felt, you tell me if this is true, that you would not want to walk barefoot on a wrestling match mat, which had previously had a bunch of bodies.
100% correct. You are correct.
So-
Any normal person should not want to walk on other people's sweat and body bits. Forget it.
Well, you call me unnormal then.
I had this weird hunch when I was designing Scott because I wanted there to be some personality, right, still to them. I didn't want it to be just underwear. And I thought, all right, well, we'll let Bo keep his bandages. And then I was like, well, what do I let Scott keep? I can't let him keep the gloves because everybody says those gloves are cheap.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't let him keep the jorts because that's what everybody says theorizes gives him his power.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, there's no way Scott would want to walk barefoot on this mat.
Hell no.
I'll give him
that was
some black dad socks.
I mean, funny
And,
enough, you'd think it'd be, I'd be like, yeah, of course, I don't want to stand on it. But the rest of my nakedness is all over the floor of this thing.
Yeah.
So it's not really doing much for me. I do like that the socks match my little waistband and then the little edges of my undies there. I like that. It's a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah. That worked. And if
But
I
it
was, if we were, Bo, if you and I were in this kind of shape, oh man, how great would it be? Look at us.
I'd wrestle you every day, dude.
Yeah. I'd move to Ottawa just to wrestle.
I'd love to be in that kind of shape, though. It's very flattering. The chat room thinks they're 100% accurate, but
Yeah, but not even close, folks. Not to me anyway. I don't want to speak for Bo. I haven't seen him naked, but
no. Oh my god! If
I get enough flack
I wouldn't be playing video games.
for hair color and whatnot. I've had a lot of people not thrilled with coming to terms with how they're graying because of how they look when I put them in the game.
yeah.
Like, the last thing we need, myself included, is accurate body types reflected in this game. So everybody in this game is
You
extremely
did
fit.
right. Yeah, you did. Yeah. It's a fantasy.
Can the game do
we're having
that?
A wrestling fantasy.
If the game wanted to, though, or if you wanted to, could you take it and make a super?
I think you have to be. You're at least in somewhat good shape. Like you can be. There are certainly more out of shape body types than others, but like it's not customizable to the degree where I feel like everybody would be accurately
they
represented.
even
I
make
feel
those
like you'd even
wrestlers?
be. Yeah, there are.
They make
There's
those
some.
wrestlers that are just like you have zero muscle. You're just here because you're really big. Like
Yeah,
those
yeah.
like
for
do they
sure.
still have those wrestlers? I haven't watched them. In a
It's
long
not
time, but
as common, but there occasionally you'll run into a few.
I
I'm
wonder
just
why I
trying to
was.
think of a name of even one. Like
Well, like the Iron
There's
Sheik
so
in his
many.
the later years of Iron Sheik, he was pretty
Bo,
big.
your moveset is actually based on a wrestler named Rikishi, who it was actually a talented wrestler. I'm not going to claim that he was just a body type, but certainly the fact that he was a heavy set wrestler was leaned into quite heavily. I picked that move set because he stuck his butt in people's faces, and that seemed like a
oh
bold
yeah,
move.
no, you're good. I'm good. Your choices have been phenomenal. This has been a brilliant. Everything you've touched is brilliant when it comes to this.
Yeah.
But I just we're just on the subject of it. I just know there used to be like really some of them. You're just like, oh, it's hefty boy time, like it's these guys aren't working out. Like their workout is chicken, like at least that's how they're marketed, right? Like even
Right,
on
yeah.
the surface, they're like, I'm so big, you can't mess with me. I just
Yeah.
can't think of any of their names. That's probably why they don't have as many anymore.
So did I end up winning this match then? I'm still.
You did. It's not a very
Mm.
long match. I mean, we've almost talked for the full duration of the match, honestly. Like it's pretty short. You do end up winning it. Bo was in the chat. He was not thrilled about it.
I was RPing a little bit just because it makes it more fun. I assume it makes it your stream better. So I'm like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I said I'm leaving this chat room, and I just closed the window, not because I was genuinely mad, but because I was giving a performance. So
I love how
But,
the AI will sometimes. My AI got down twice on the ground outside the ring to lift up the skirt of the ring to pull something out, and 2 times just reached around in there, couldn't find shit, came up, fought a while, went back down there.
Sean commented on it. Oh, there he is. He's getting a chair in. Well, he's not going to do
guess not.
anything with
Yeah.
it right now.
It's such a funny thing to see these characters sort of behave stupidly, but I love it. Well, Bo, look, there's always another chance.
Look, you won fair and square and resoundingly. So I got nothing more to add other than to the victor go the spoils.
Yeah.
Although for John, I assume with all of these losses, a mounting frustration on the part of Bo is occurring. He might need a few weeks off, and I just suggest you do what you want. You're the auteur, but maybe it's villain arc time for Bo.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. A lot went down. Cora's falling apart. Last week, myself and Brian Dunaway, who we're 2 of the 4 members technically of Core at the moment, and Dunaway didn't help me break up a pin. He stood there and watched me get pinned, and we lost the title match as a result.
Oof.
So this week, John called out Dunaway. We had a match. Dunaway ended up winning it. So is John still in Core? How does Scott feel about all of this? Like there's fractures forming in the team. Core is falling apart.
Yeah. Drama. We got drama.
Yeah. So, but you're still sitting on top of that mountain. The funny thing is everybody goes, Scott is too strong. He needs to be nerfed. Why don't you nerf Scott? So one thing people might not know, I test a lot of these matches to make sure it's going to look and run well.
Yeah.
I have seen Scott lose. And I don't know if
really?
there's something built into the AI where if like the title's on the line, he tries harder.
Weird.
But I've seen Scott lose plenty of times. It just never happens when the actual live show happens.
Weird.
He's a Showtime performer,
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen him lose all the time. And Monica, for the longest time, Monica couldn't win a match. And I would tell her, I was like, oh, I made a new character and I had them fight you and you won the match. Like it happens all the time, but for some reason on the day, you always end up losing. Like
Weird.
it's just really weird the way the AI goes. Sometimes it doesn't go the way you expect it to, and sometimes it creates opportunities, and sometimes you think like, oh, this is going to be such good storytelling, and then it just does something completely different than what you expected.
Wow.
So
Well, another successful week. Make sure Craftless Rogue, both on Twitch and YouTube, are in your bookmarks, everybody, because more
And
to
has
come.
anyone gotten more use out of that mode than you have in the world at this point?
Oh, I'm sure. I think there's a lot of people that run this, and they do. I've debated on. So there's actually a mode in the game, and I only started experimenting with it a little bit last week because I had to make costumes for you guys to fight in underwear and stuff. Like this was a busy week for me in
Picturing John
WWE.
knitting at home.
I gotta make underwear now. So I did a lot of work this week. There is actually a mode that will run a lot of the stuff that I think of and do each week for you. It'll actually automate it. It creates a week. It automates the matches. And then I don't have to sit down and think who's fighting who. The game just goes, hey, here's who's fighting. And it builds a little bit more of that story into that mode automatically. Like it'll have at the match end, like someone will go to shake hands and the other person will slap their hand away or something. So it kind of builds in storylines and drama, and you can actually build in rivalries and stuff like that. it's a lot of cool options, but it also takes a lot of the control away from me. Like you couldn't have said, I want to do a tidy whitey Hell in a Cell match. And if I was going through that mode, I would have had to said, I can't do that because that mode doesn't allow for that level of control. So I do kind of like, there's some really cool things I could do with it. And it's something I always think about, like, oh, what if I got into that? And it would save me some time thinking about the matches, but I just like having too much control over it.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome as usual. So make sure you guys are checking it out. Tell me about Station to Station, because I almost bought this. It looks really great and wholesome and amazing and kind of my jam, and then I didn't do it. So maybe I will now because you'll talk me into it. So what is the deal with Station to Station?
Yeah, after we've talked about assassins killing, we've talked about 600 boomer shooters,
Yep.
we've talked about wrestling. Now let's really wind it down to the opposite end of the gaming spectrum. A game where you build railroads.
You've talked about this game before. I think.
We
Yeah.
have. It's come up before.
Yeah.
I think we both had it on wish lists, and we talked about it.
It looks
Yeah.
awesome.
It does look cool.
It is just a wholesome, calm, chill little puzzle game. It's all little like voxels, and it's just like, hey, here's a granary. It makes grain. Here's a place that needs grain. And then you build a train station that connects these two locations, and then it goes, great. Here's a couple more buildings that need trains that visit them.
Yeah.
And you build train tracks and train stations, and you connect all the things you need to connect so that everything interconnects in the way it should. Because like you'll build a town and it's like, okay, well, the town needs cheese and fish and bread and all these things. So you need to make sure that trains run through here that have accomplished all of that. And you want to do it without spending too much money, but also, you want to do it efficiently, but you also want it to be aesthetically pleasing. And it introduces a lot of mechanics. So like, yes, you can do a straight line, but that might require a bridge or a tunnel or something, which is going to cost extra money to make. So eventually it does add like a card system where you can make bridges cheaper. So, okay, well, I know I'm going to build bridges when I play this card, so I need to plan out when to build it. And it's just like, as complicated as that might sound, I don't know if it sounds complicated or not. Like, it is just a little puzzle game. It's not going to really weigh heavily on you. There's no big narrative impacts on all of this. You just sort of do it and you try to earn as much as you can. And then once you've accomplished whatever a building needs, like if they needed wheat and you've connected the wheat field to the mill or whatever, like the map fills in with color. Like it's all kind of washed out and then it becomes colorful when it fills in.
Yep. And all the
it's
trains
just
start running.
calm.
Can't you like zoom
Yeah.
it? Because it's all voxels, right? That's the other thing, is this art style is like a really cool, like a voxely piece of business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get like real uptight and far away, and it uses the, what do you call that camera mode? Where
Isometric.
where things look small, or things blur in the foreground and background. So what's it called? Tilt,
Bokeh.
something tilt shift. That's what I meant to say. It's got that tilt shift effect on stuff, which makes things look like little models. And I just love that. I think I'm gonna grab it because I was gonna anyway. I was waiting for more reviews, knowing that John grabbed it and likes it. I think I just get it. Why not?
It is great. It's not that expensive. I think it's on sale for like $17 right now, maybe a little less than that.
$16.19 it says, looks like. So it's a 10% launch deal at the moment.
It's actually like, it's kind of funny too, because I went to buy it because I knew I wanted it. Yeah, it's $16.19 on Steam right now.
Yeah, pretty good.
And it is, but I looked down and it was like, buy the Railway Puzzles bundle. And I almost bought that too. I was like, you know what's better than one game about trains to solve puzzles? 4 games to
I
solve
saw that
puzzles
too
with
while you were
trains.
talking, and Train Valley 2 looks dope, dude. Like,
Yeah, it looks really
Yeah.
good. You get Train Valley 2, and a cell-shaded bit of business called Railbound. I'm genuinely thinking about getting all of these games. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something really chill about just train puzzle games that just sounds great to me right now. So I really dig it. It's not, it's not revolutionary or anything, but like it's just a chill, fun experience. Like, a good way to spend a good chunk of time.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this sort of stuff, so you kind of have me on this. One of these I've never heard of called Railbound. This is reviewed real well. This is one of the bundled ones.
Yeah.
So it looks like these are all kind of focused on the same idea of like, you got to solve this puzzle. And the puzzle is, how are we getting shit from town to wherever it needs to go in the most efficient, cheapest way, not cheapest, but, most economically efficient way possible. That's a great loop. That's Chorecore, man. You're a Chorecore fan. Woo!
Yeah, look at me doing it. You put a train in it and I'll play your Chorecore.
That's
I'll
right.
do it.
More trains, less train core.
Train core.
Train core. That sounds like a thing in Star Wars. Get the train core. Anyway, awesome. Check that one out. That's up on Steam. And you also played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, which is that whole combo thing made by those people that now are owned by Blizzard, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
It finally came to Steam. I don't remember what it was on originally when it came out. But
yeah, what was that? Was it Epic? Probably Epic. If
I
had to
don't
guess.
know.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it there.
Yeah.
I waited, and now it's on Steam, and I've been wanting this ever since I heard they remade Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, because I really liked those games, even though it wasn't until actually Tony Hawk 3 that I got into it. So in a way, I had seen it. I had seen other people play it, so I do have a level of nostalgia for it. I got into that warehouse level and was like, oh yeah, I've done this before.
Sure.
But 3 was actually where I started owning them and playing them. So in a way, this also feels like a brand new experience to some degree too. And happy to have it on Steam. Played a little bit of it. Tony Hawk's great, you guys. It always has been.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a bad thing to say about it. It looks nice. Soundtrack makes me feel like it's the 90s again. It's great. It's wonderful. I like Tony Hawk.
Yep. Fun ticking off stuff on the list. This may have been one of my favorite, or one of the things that drove me to love open world games where I have a bunch of tasks to do. Because this game's all about that. Get all the letters, get the grind goal, whatever the goals are. Goal-based open world content. I feel like Tony Hawk in a lot of ways established that as my genre to beat, because I do love that. And this game's
it's
full
also
of it.
just so smartly designed, because if this game was just get the best score for skateboarding good,
Boring.
Yeah, people would have liked that, but it wouldn't have become the biggest mainstream hit that Tony Hawk was for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because what they did intelligently was they gave a bunch of really easy to accomplish tasks that it didn't matter how bad your friends were or you were at the game. Like, you could do it. Like, I can't pull off great tricks, but I can ride through a bunch of boxes. And not only that, but that sounds like a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would have fun with the game, and it's literally in the tutorial where Tony Hawk says to you, it's like, yeah, this is going to seem like a lot at first, but you just practice just like real skateboarding and you'll get good at it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the game does. It gives you a bunch of really easy tasks, and you start unlocking stuff even off the easy tasks. And then by the time it's like, no, you have to get really amazing scores, you've gotten good at the game.
Yeah.
So it's an incredibly well-designed game that like absolutely earned the success that this series wound up having. Like, it was very smart the way they took a game and made it popular to people that maybe didn't even care about the thing.
Yep. I agree. You know what else is great? The fact that it's 50% off until the 10th. It's only $20, and it's two full games in there. It's pretty
That's
good.
the remade version.
Yeah. This is the Steam version. And this was Vicarious Visions, the people who made the remake of Diablo 2 for Blizzard. And they bought them. Now they work at Blizzard, and I don't know what else they're making, but they made that. Very cool. I kind of want to crack. I own it on Epic. I should probably crack it open and play some. Bo, Counter-Strike. Oh, I've been wanting to talk about this. So
Yep. Yeah,
Counter
this is a
Strike,
big one.
yeah, this is a huge one. Counter Strike 2 happened. The reviews are off the chart positive. People are shocked how good this is because how much more do you do to Counter Strike's formula to even make it worth putting a 2 after it? And apparently they've really killed it, according to everything I've read. So now I need to hear it from the otters
So that's
chode. So
you really hyped that up before checking with me
Yep.
on the side on Counter Strike 2. I've been doing AI matches.
yeah.
And the training, it made me do training because I guess I don't think I've really, at least on this account, I don't think I've played CS:GO. I have no Counter Strike background,
Okay.
but I'm like, the hype was coming up, and I miss being good at something video game style. Like it's been a while since we've been doing esports stuff, and I was like, yeah, let me just check this out. Maybe I can get into this. So. I mean, so far, pretty good at beating the AI bots. Won a lot of
yeah.
points.
Hell yeah.
I'm a little nervous about entering into the fray and being a noob because I've watched Counter-Strike esports, and it's a little different than most shooters in that it's a tactical squad-based deal.
Yep. Die and you're
Even
dead.
Valorant, I never really... Valorant didn't interest me too much.
Excuse me. Oh, wow. Hold on.
I feel like I just got
Demon escaped.
I feel like I got assaulted by my throat just suddenly, just random like a violence.
That was amazing.
But I don't know. I was looking for a game. I've been playing so many RPGs. I'm like, I just need like something with skill expression and straightforward login play. So I started playing some CS:GO. All the matches have been so far on the map that's been around as long as I've been alive, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I hear there's other maps.
Dust is on there,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
DE
But
Dust.
I mean, it's snappy. It plays like I think I got to adjust my mouse a little bit, but I like it. I'd play with friends. It definitely feels safer going in with friends.
Oh, I'll
Hint,
bet.
hint.
Yeah, see, that's that thing I'm most nervous about. When I played Counter-Strike with friends and in our office back at this place I worked, this was when it was a mod for Half-Life. And we loved that game. Played it every day after work. It was nonstop love. Love, love, love. Played it on servers, had GameSpy running all the time, all that stuff back in the day.
GameSpy.
I know, it was a long
I
time
remember
ago.
GameSpy.
I'm terrified of it now, even though essentially the game is just they've just evolved that same winning formula. It plays similar. It's
Seems
still
like what I've seen before. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
yeah, and
nothing
it's a
crazy new
it's a
here.
wonderful formula. But I'm so terrified of other players because I know I'm not up to snuff. There's no way I'm going to survive very long. So I guess you haven't done it, but I want to know how like matchmaking is. Can noobs feel okay about their first 20 matches against other people of similar skill? Like
Well,
how?
we'll see if I boot it up again. I mean, the Cyberpunk thing's really just been a big depressing because of the way I play it. It's my fault. I'm not blaming the game for it, but it's been a big depressing pile of schedule filling nonsense because I want to play the game again, even though there's like I'm a little over having 200-hour games to play. Thanks, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Cyberpunk, and then I'm taking a big break from campaign games. I guess. Is what
No,
I'm
that
trying to
makes
say.
sense. That's
I
if
get
you
that.
remember a year ago when I got into Fortnite, Cyberpunk was the game that did that to me. I
Yeah.
finished Cyberpunk and went, I can't do this anymore, and I started playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
So
Even
I get it.
even though technically I'll have more hours, I just can't wake up every day trying to push myself to be done in time for core to do a campaign. I need some shorter, morsely. I need to play games like Scott does, basically. Just,
Well, I'm having the same issue though. This whole thing with these retro shooters, that's 100% me trying to have a moment of I don't need to think about a story. I don't want to talk about a campaign. I just want to go shoot shit and be good at it.
I feel like I've just been doing this long-term game shit since Diablo 4, and it's unrelenting. And I'm a little worried because,
It's a lot.
well, there's stuff in November. What's coming?
Yeah, we got things. This
I can't
out of
remember
nowhere,
now.
RoboCop has got me all stoked.
Yeah, see, that's probably a skip. If I'm being realistic, not because it doesn't look good, but it just time.
There's
I
too
don't know.
much. There's too
It's too
much.
much.
I've done a skip on a lot of games I really was excited about.
Yeah,
You just got to at a certain point.
it's a weird year. I look forward to when these are all on sale, and I'm getting them some future year where I have time to go, oh yeah, that one I meant to play and never did. Let's go.
Something I really want to do with my time, honestly, the reason why I want to clear things off is I want to get back to hardcore WoW.
Oh yeah, I want to hear how that goes for you.
I kind of want to get back to hardcore WoW. I kind of want to stream it. I'm going to be off work. I kind of want it to be I don't want to play solo. Like I want to do, what's the opposite of solo self-found? Like group find everything for me. Like I want to do like that version where we,
Yeah.
get a squad of like viewers and stuff together to make like a multiplayer. I need multiplayer. I haven't had like good multiplayer in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm playing Baldur's Gate with friends like Mike and Crofton, whom you know, and the mystery man who doesn't want to be named.
Yeah.
And it is excruciating trying to organize time. I want to just peel my eyeballs out with a spoon. It's like 15 hours of discourse on like when everyone's available, and then 2 hours of game time. It's awful.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude.
So I'll take what I can get, and I respect that people are busy, etc. It's fine. But man, I need some multiplayer. So I need to change up my routine a little bit. So that's why Counter-Strike. That's why I booted it up, and I'm probably going to try playing it again. At some point.
I can't believe I'm hearing so many good things about the New World MMO expansion. Like I kind of just wrote New World
really?
off. People it got the most concurrent today. This came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and people are freaking out.
Come out today?
Yeah, and they're all like, "Oh, it's such a good expansion. You guys have no idea the game's gotten so good." Brr, brr, brr. So I have to admit, I'm like
really
a little tempted.
It's good, and it's called Rise of the Angry Earth.
Rise of the Angry Earth.
And it's good and called that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
a
very
terrible name.
impressive.
I know,
Why are the
right?
people giving it mech? That's probably just angry gamers.
Well, there's always those, but the reviews
Yeah,
have been good.
No, man, I hated New World.
You didn't like it, I
can't-
know. You really
I
disliked it.
can't imagine it being good, but I bought the stupid first game. Might as well buy the damn expansion and
Yeah.
find out I don't like the game again.
I think what I'll
This is
do, I may
melt
hop
now?
into, because the base game supposedly hugely improved. I may hop in there and just see if that's true. If it feels good, maybe. I don't know. I'm in the.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
getting an
true.
itch.
I guess I already have the base game. There's no sub fee, so like it's not like I have to. Not like I have to buy the expansion. I
I'm
can
just
play
getting
the base
I'm
game.
getting an MMO itch right now, and I don't know who's gonna scratch it.
Come play. I'm done working to less than 2 weeks. Come play classic WoW with me.
Oh,
we
classic
can,
WoW.
We can
Don't-
heal each
don't
other.
do
and
that,
shit.
Scott.
I can't play classic.
Let me tell you about a little game called Final Fantasy.
Oh, hey, that was some other news this week. You can now play that game 100% solo. That whole
So
campaign.
that is not 100% true, but it's pretty
Oh,
close.
okay.
So I did see that article. I meant to put it in the news. I couldn't remember what the story was. I wanted to put in the news later. That was it. Yes, with the latest patch, they have made every dungeon in the game able to be run with their solo mode. I can't remember what they call it, but you basically run, the computer AI will take over the other party members for the party. They do the mechanics. It's not like it's an easier mode. It is just as hard as the dungeon would be otherwise, except you are running with 3 AIs that will actually perform mechanics. So it might be a little easier in the sense that the players will know what they're doing, at least 3/4 of them. I actually really like this mode. So this has been something that has been in the game for the past couple expansions, and they've been retroactively adding it to older content. It's a really great mode for, a lot of my time in Final Fantasy 14 was when my son was first born, and it's very hard to go, oh yeah, I got 20 minutes. The baby fell asleep. I got 20 minutes, like guaranteed way that the baby's going to wake up in the middle of that dungeon. So there were a lot of times playing that game where I got to a dungeon and had to go, shit, I got to put the game down because I don't know if the baby's going to wake up in the middle of a dungeon. I got to wait till, it's bedtime or someone else is watching him. Now you have the ability to play with AI. So if something interrupts you, you just go, well, I'm not going to finish the dungeon right now. That's fine. However, Final Fantasy 14 does have a thing called trials, which are single boss encounters that are group content, and those, with one exception, are not soloable. So you still have to run with a group to do trials. Now, there aren't very many of them in the game. and they're fairly quick. It's a single boss fight. There's no trash. There's no nothing. Like it's not a big time investment in usually to do them, but those are still requiring a group at the moment. So
Interesting.
it's
Okay.
kind of true, but it's also kind of not. But I will also say this, like the reason I talk about this group mode in the sense of for people who don't know if they're going to have time rather than people who are afraid of other human beings. I've spent a lot of time in Final Fantasy 14. I've done a lot of group content. I have never had a bad experience in a dungeon in Final Fantasy 14, and I have done some bonehead stupid stuff. And at no point did anyone get mad.
Yeah.
At no point did anyone lose their patience. The closest I got was I didn't know that limit breaks were shared across your team. I didn't know that there was one limit break for the entire party, and I wasted it on a trash mob to see what the button did.
Yeah.
And the party went, "Really? What are we doing?" And I just said, "Is that shared across the party?" And they went, "Yeah." And then they laughed. They were like, "It's fine, don't worry about it." And
that's
I
good.
was like, "Okay, well now I know not to push that button ever again." That's the closest I ever had to a mean encounter. Like there's no reason to necessarily avoid it. But if you do get anxiety about that, I do as well. I usually like to do AI the first time through, so I at least have an understanding of the mechanics before I'm doing it with other people. It's actually a really great way to learn how to do the fight because you can, like I said, watch what the other NPCs are doing and copy what they're doing and go, "Oh, okay, everybody ran to this side for this move. What is this move? Okay, that tells me to do that, do the same thing." So
Yeah, my limited experience
it's a
in
really
some
cool thing.
dungeons in that game were the same. People were very nice in there, so I assume that culture persists to this day. I don't know. That got me excited. I have to admit. I was like, "Oh, play the game solo, eh?"
And you can try it.
Kind of how I like
Try
my
it.
MMOs.
Yeah.
I
there's-
will say it's still not the MMO for you, but yeah,
For other different reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
understand.
few others though, maybe to look forward to, right? Like Ashes of Creation is a lot of hype around. it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one that might be pretty good. The reason I'm also like the community manager on there used to be a community manager in PlanetSide 1 and was like one of the first streamers, Margaret Cron.
Oh, cool.
She was streamer and then she got hired on as community manager for PlanetSide 1. So I just always remember her whenever she pops up. I'm like, I know her.
Yeah.
So she's working on that game, or I mean, whatever. She's part of that team.
What's it called again? Shadows? No. What is it?
Ashes of
Ashes
Creation.
of Creation.
So they're trying to make the next big MMO thing. There's also one I've been hearing about is Throne and Liberty. It's an NCSoft title, but that's an MMO that's coming too.
Wow, Ashes of Creation in progress since 2016. They announced it in 2016 with a
Yes,
Kickstarter.
they've been working
thing.
on it a long time. They're really trying. It's either going to be a turd or they're really working on something special. It's going to be
Yeah.
great for people.
Wow,
but-
Unreal Engine 5. I didn't know that. 15-month subscription, no upfront box cost, no free-to-play mode. That's fine with me. And they got Wynn McLaughlin, lead writer for Elder Scrolls Online. That's a big deal. That game is very narrative. Like,
Mhm.
say what you want about the rest of it, the mechanics or anything else, but the writing in ESO is fantastic.
I
That's
think
great
the
news.
Ashes hype is pretty legit.
Yeah,
we
I've
don't
seen
know.
a lot
but-
of buzz for that.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
mean, who knows when? We don't know when that's coming out.
No,
right?
no
Like,
date.
That's still
No,
ways
that might be
away.
forever. That might be. It might go the way of what's that game called?
Star Citizen. It
There
might
you
come
go.
out the
Yeah.
same day as Star Citizen. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, it
But,
sure is
But
pretty.
there's other MMOs too. Like if but I just want to get the hardcore challenge done. I'm not trying to play it for years and years.
I think you should play. Shit, I was ready with a joke and then I forgot the name of the game. Genshin
RuneScape.
Impact. I think you should
Genshin
play
Impact.
Genshin Impact, Scott.
Yeah, you think so? I don't know,
think
man.
It's time.
You think
I
it's time?
Look, Bo played it. He gave his thoughts. I played it a little bit. I gave
It's
my
true.
very early thoughts. I think you're up. It's
Okay.
your turn.
Just,
All
yeah,
right.
you should play it just as a homework assignment. Like play it, set 2 hours, something. Just like just do it as like a homework thing. Like I'm just gonna play
Yeah.
2 hours.
You
Well,
are
if-
not gonna like this game, Scott.
If
I
there's-
will just be
Okay.
upfront with you.
Okay.
You're not gonna like it.
If there's
but
anything
you
I
should
learned-
give it 2 hours of your time and report back because it will be content.
If there's anything I enjoyed about my my public education and college education was how much I just love homework. So I'm going to get right on that and get some of that homework done.
I shouldn't have said
It's
homework.
free. It's free on Epic. Just go download it. Just go download it and let us know your thoughts. At the very least, you will capture a lot of audio.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
maybe
sure,
he
and
can
have
wait
a lot of
for.
thoughts.
Okay.
Maybe he can wait for Zenless Zone Zero. So I'm definitely gonna be playing.
Oh
that.
yeah, I do want to play that. I like
It's the same
sci-fi.
company, and it's probably like same business model, gacha adventure game. So
Yeah.
I mean,
but the little sci-fi twist,
yeah,
which
it's
I'm into. I like that.
Scarlet Nexus flavored.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Do we have a date for that? Let's see.
I'm just looking that up now because that's another one. I'm not.
There's a
see-
beta.
Oh, Hoyo Fest. Okay, Hoyo Fest. And this is taking place in Thailand in October 20 to 22nd. So. I'm
They've
not
had
seeing
they
the
revealed it
date.
May of 2022. They last year they also started a beta. I don't know where they're at now. There's not a lot of news. A lot of anime.
I don't
boobs.
think it's going to be. We can expect the game to be released in 2024. Says Game Crater.
Oh, Game Crater. Sweet.
Yeah, it's like a crater where you drop your shitty games.
That's where they put all
great
those
website title, guys. It's awesome.
those ET 24 or 2600 cartridges all ended up in a Game Crater.
But
all right.
yeah, maybe he on ramps there. But anyways, I was talking about games in my section.
Counter Strike 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
Counter Strike 2.
Yep.
Holy shit, we went down a rabbit hole.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what I was trying to say is like I'm looking for. It's funny that MMOs came up in this, but I'm looking for, as just John was saying, some short form video games, or I might just start playing Heroes again or Co-op Commanders or something. Like I just need some. I need a break, RPG people. So you keep making your games, but I'm taking a break, with the exception of one game which may suck back in. We'll talk about in the news, and that's Diablo 4. They had a very good YouTube presentation this week, and they're going to have a second one next week, and I expect it to be good as well. So
Yeah.
I might be playing D4 in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to say, I like kind of some of the stuff they're talking about. We'll get to that in a second, but we're going to take a break. When we come back from this break at Dear Martha, we got some YouTube comments. I really like this direction, by the way. And it's caused a couple of you to just come in there and go, here's a negative YouTube comment, and that's all you say.
Oh, no.
But some of them, whatever. There's some good points in there. We'll see what John
I've
has done.
debated if I should use those or not. Like, on one hand, it feels like giving them what they want.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I can
That's-
also see their comment history, so I also know that like they didn't just start doing this
No,
for this. Like
no.
they like to visit every video and be a little pisser about
Yeah,
it.
that's their
So,
thing to do. I totally get it.
All right, I'm not going to read these, but I'm seeing a lot of comments. I don't know. YouTube's a game, baby. We need engagement.
Yeah,
No,
we're playing
that's
that
why
game.
that's why I was all for it. A negative engagement is totally fine. Helps us just
but-
as much.
yeah.
Keep being a pisser week after week. We'll see it. We'll see you this week.
Yeah, John will take your piss or something like that.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep. Corn.
So-
John will take your
John will
piss.
take your piss. Send it in. So we're going to be doing all that, plus some other news, an email, some other things. So stick around. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Why is my phone telling me you're streaming? He's like, what? He looks at the kid and is like, oh.
I love crap like that. That's pretty great.
My
gotta-
my pop filter's gone, so we're gonna have to just see how it goes without it.
So
Just
far, you're
don't say
good.
any words with P in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as you don't say
Nope.
P. Yeah. Remember that whole P thing earlier? Don't say that ever again. You'll
Don't
be
talk about it.
good. Yep.
Like
Well.
Liza P is not a game that I can play.
Oh, I tried that game. I forgot to tell you. In fact, you know what? Here, we'll bring it back. Hi, everybody. We're back. Thanks for being so patient. Before we get to Dear Martha, a quick note about Lies of P. I did play that. Did I talk about it last week? I may not have.
No,
I don't
no,
think
I don't
so,
think
no.
you talked about it. No.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so I thought, why not? I did fire it up. I knew it was a Souls-like before I went in, so I knew it was probably not going to be for me in terms of that kind of gameplay. However, because I'm not super into those, I thought it looked amazing, and I really like the weird Pinocchio take. It's just dark and cool, and I love that kind of thing. That was all very cool. but I died all the time and I stopped. So no more Lies of P. I'm done. I'm out.
It's more Dies of P. than
Dies
Lies
of P. Yep.
Dies of P.
I also don't like the name Lies of P. I'm sure it may make sense later.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think it's not egregious, but I'm with you.
I wish it was just straight up Lies of Pinocchio. I would have preferred that, I think, because that's who it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
P.
Pinocchio Ring?
Pinocchio Ring.
Pinocchio Ring is good.
Lord of the Pinocchio Rings. Fantastic. All right, we're back. We're going to do Dear Martha now. John's curated, if you will, some fantastic commentary from YouTube.com. So, John, let's dive right in. Anything special here before we go?
Nope, just regular Dear Martha.
All right, I'm going to get this one ready. It's turned down too low. Here we go.
My dearest Martha, I gave Cyberpunk a shot based on this video, and I encountered a progression blocking bug in the tutorial within 45 minutes of playing. Melee tutorial bot went into a T-pose and just stood there when I'm supposed to attempt blocking. Obviously, I returned it. I don't think you can fully save that game. Yours in this life and the next, a reason to laugh.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think he has very many reasons to laugh, to be honest.
I mean, there's one.
Yeah, there's one.
You gave us one right
Sure.
there.
Why not? All right.
Look, what can you do? I said this to a different comment. If you, I've said it on the show. If you're going to put a 1.0 on your game,
Yeah.
everybody has every right in the world to judge that as a released product and make up their mind on it.
Yeah.
If there's somebody out there who, despite what we've said about Cyberpunk, wants to go, no, I downloaded it and had a bad experience on day one, I don't want to give that game a shot ever again.
Sure.
That's fine. That's well within their right to make that decision and do.
Yep.
I personally would rather see games fixed than abandoned.
Yeah.
Like, if I had my druthers, would I prefer a game comes out? Like, do I wish Cyberpunk on release was what it is today? Yeah,
Of course.
100%.
Of course.
But in a world where that wasn't the case, I'd much rather see them fix the game than go, well, got a lot of your money. That's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is, a step up. They will never escape the history that is that game. Cyberpunk on launch is synonymous with a terrible launch.
Yep.
It is the same thing. So I 100% get all of that. And if you don't want to forgive them, you don't want to forgive them. But when you say, I don't know if there's a way to save it, I do. It's what they did, because
Yeah.
by all accounts, you're the minority now and everybody's having a great time.
Yeah.
So obviously you returned it. Have fun with whatever you're playing. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. And I haven't had a single game-breaking bug. I haven't even had lockups. You've even had a couple of those. I haven't had anything. Nothing.
I had one hard crash out of the game, and I had one frustrating bug where I could not progress, and that was in the new content. And but it was just I lost 5 minutes of progress. Like, I loaded an old save. Same with the other one. Actually, the other one, I crashed to desktop. I reloaded it, and I was exactly where I was when the game crashed.
Sure.
So, like, it's not perfect. It's an open world. There's been plenty of open world, jankiness, but in, again, like the way that I tend to find charming, like
Yeah.
when somebody just blinks out of existence, that doesn't
I had
ruin the game.
I had a severed hand get stuck in a box, and then they were spinning around and floating in the air like it was possessed, and it looked awesome. I was like,
I
"This is
love
hilarious."
crap like that.
And then there was a noodle vendor that got a pot stuck on his head, and he was talking to me with the pot stuck on. I don't know what happened. He was just animating, and the pot went bloop, and then it was just stuck on his head.
Yeah. I'm
I
down
like that
for
stuff.
I'm down for weirdness when it doesn't destroy my game experience. It just, a little bit of immersion breaking is fine. Like, welcome to GTA. That's just what you get. Sorry. Did you have more or just the one?
No, I think just do the one.
All right, you got the one.
Oh,
That's fine.
Just do the one.
That's all right. Hey, dude, man who commented that. Enjoy your focus today. All right. It was all about you. Let's do this. We got a bit of news here. This is interesting. John wins. I think maybe we all win. I think we all kind of agreed with this prediction, but I think it came
we
out of
didn't.
John's face first.
Let me just tell you, as the person who won.
Yeah.
Now everybody trying to ride my coattails to the top. We all took our turn making a prediction of which Blizzard game would be the second on the stream.
Yeah.
And only one of us said Diablo 4.
It was you?
It was me.
What did I say? World of Warcraft, maybe? I might have.
You're not giving Scott
I don't
points
remember
for something
what
he didn't earn.
won Diablo 4 because I said Diablo 4 and I got called crazy.
I don't remember. Really? I don't remember being that shocked by that. In fact, when it happened, I felt like,
Jamie, send the mashup.
yeah, somebody find the clip. I don't remember this. But anyway, let's say John wins. Diablo 4 coming to Steam. It's official. It's October 17th, I think, is the date. Or something like that.
I think Bo said Heroes, but I can't remember what you said.
I may have
And
said
I remember
World of Warcraft.
wishing Bo was right.
Maybe we
I
did a
wanted
thing
one.
where once somebody picked one, we couldn't pick that same one. And so we all had to pick something different. Is that what we did?
No.
Okay.
Scott's trying to get some credit along with
It's like give me some points.
Some
What
damn
if you
credit.
give us some points?
Clearly, I would have gotten this right too if we all remember correctly. I answered correctly.
Yeah, of course.
Even though I don't remember, I'm sure I was right.
I just have zero memory of this. But yeah, Diablo 4 coming to Steam. And it will be interesting to see if that game gets review bombed just because it's Blizzard.
If
I think that will happen. I do not. Here's my
100%.
prediction. Well, here's another chance at predictions, guys.
Okay, write this one
Scott,
down.
you got another chance to win some points. You can ride my coattails again.
Hang on. Let's clarify the bet. The bet is this time next week. What is the Steam review category?
Well, wait. We gotta. Does it come out next week? When does it come out?
17th.
Hold
So
on.
that is next. Wait,
17th.
No,
a little
that's
more than a week.
No,
Yeah. Okay. So in 2 weeks, when we do a show on the 19th,
Yeah.
what
Write
is
this
the
down.
state of Diablo 4's review? And you can say whatever you want. So there might be multiple winners here.
Yeah.
I agree.
like the all reviews Steam tag, right? It could say very positive, mostly
It could be
positive,
really positive.
overwhelmingly positive. There's no middle, is there? There's no like.
There's
mid-
mixed. Mixed is mixed is
mixed? And mostly negative. They don't parse up the negatives, right? Do they have? Just
No, I
very
think there
negative?
is overwhelmingly negative, right? I don't know. Look up Overwatch 2. That's surely got
It's
it.
overwhelmingly negative in Overwatch 2.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. In fact, they even made it not red. They whited it out because they're all out of dark red levels of hate over there.
Yeah, it's recent reviews overwhelmingly negative. All reviews overwhelmingly negative. 200,000 plus.
Yeah.
Review.
It's bad.
200,000 plus.
Somebody at Blizzard must have
Guys,
expected
we know you're
this.
mad, but the game's actually decent.
It's
Anyway,
a decent
whatever.
enough game.
I'm not opening
It's
that
all
can of
bullshit.
Enjoy
worms.
your review bomb, you degenerate corporate Fs. Game is just not fun with tanks taking every match, heroes locked behind paywalls, impossible challenges, then proceed to cancel PvE. That's messed up.
I'm kind of mad about I'm kind of mad about the canceled PV too. I think I gotta downvote it. I think I'm gonna enjoy the review bomb.
Yeah, get in there and bomb it. Do it.
I love the game. That's why I'm giving it a downvote because
I don't
where's
think
my
I can
PvE?
review it because I haven't played it.
Oh yeah, me neither. Okay, well, anyways, whatever.
You have to download
Like
it in
that.
there. But all you have to do is download it and start it, and then you can leave a review.
It's not worth my time. I
No.
don't want to review negatively the game that bad. I feel
it'll
like
be-
not being willing to download it to give it a negative review is my negative.
Yeah,
review.
you're right. You're right.
It'll be interesting to see if this carries over to Diablo, which we already said. Sorry, I made
Right.
it sound like I had something.
We've
No,
come
that's
full
what we
circle.
gotta.
I made it sound like I was about to have a revelatory contribution to the show. I'm just repeating what you guys said, but more.
No, I like it. You brought us back on track. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so
Um,
do we want to go around the horn? Where does everybody think this game is going to be in 2 weeks? That's a couple days on Steam by the time we record.
Mixed. It will say mixed, even though I think that's unfair. I think it's a very good action RPG. I also think the changes coming to it for right around the launch and this next season look great. I think that the game will be unfairly maligned, but I don't think it won't be worse than mixed. That's what it'll be. That's my opinion.
I think that's an optimistic. Well, no, let's not. Bo, what do you think it's going to be?
I mean, overwhelmingly negative.
Think so?
I don't.
I hope we're wrong. I think you guys might be right, but I hope we're wrong.
It's just about the question is kind of like how much faith do you have in gamers and their reasonableness? And all I can just think of is how the game's not Diablo 2. Like I don't know.
I was gonna say mixed. That's where my vote would have been.
Yeah.
I will not take credit for it if it's mixed because I want Scott to have his potential win.
My day in the sun.
And let's give everybody a chance. I will just say negative.
Just
I'll go
negative.
between the two of you, I'll say negative is where it's going
All
to
right.
be.
So I'm
Because
on-
here's what I think.
yeah.
People in our Discord were saying get ready for the second lowest rated game on Steam. I think people are going to review bomb this because it's Blizzard? Of course. Do I think people are
Absolutely.
going to review bomb this because there are major problems with Diablo 4? Yes. But unlike Overwatch 2, they seem to be putting an effort in the categories that Diablo 4 players actually care about. Now, that's not going to hit everybody, but as Bo, I think, is going to go into, as somebody who cares about Diablo 4, there is a concerted effort being made to make this game better for people who care about it. I don't think that's going to be enough to bump it up into positive necessarily, because I still think there's a lot of Blizzard hate out there, and I think there's people that are just going to be like, get out of our store, because there's a weird culture thing going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be significantly higher than Overwatch 2, because Overwatch 2 feels like abandonware at this point, even though it isn't.
Well, like yeah,
Diablo
okay,
4
yeah.
feels like effort is coming towards that.
So while we were chatting, I went to Steam DB because I'm like, because this is we all know this. I'm not nothing revelatory here, but even through Steam Client, there's 16,000 players like at this moment
Playing, yeah.
You know, so there's like a ton of for the amount that it's review bombed, you'd expect the number to be 0, right? You know, it's like, and it's while I'm sure 16,000 isn't crazy numbers.
Yeah.
It's also like not nothing. Like, you know,
That happened with
16,000 people
Redfall today. Redfall, there was a bunch of articles out how Redfall didn't have enough concurrent players on Steam today to fill out a 4-man team in the co-op mode.
Right. That's what I mean.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Like, but it's we know that like people, it's a hobby to like bash Blizzard, but it's people hate the game. It's one of those things. 2,000 hours played, the worst game ever. It's
Yeah, I hate that.
That's how people treat and think about Blizzard. It's because to some extent there is some truth to the people are passionate about the IPs and just want to play them and play in those worlds. They just wish different decisions were made, and we can't blame them all the time. But I feel like that'll happen with Diablo 4. That's why I'm picking overwhelmingly negatives. That the same brigade will come and.
Here's the difference, and this is why I think I'm going to win. So here's me laying down the gauntlet. Everybody's chosen their level.
win.
The reason I think I'm going to win is because for you to leave a review on the Steam version of Diablo 4, you have to buy the game again to do that.
Yeah.
Unlike Overwatch, where it's free.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
actually.
This
Shit.
isn't a free-to-play
Well,
game.
We've already made our votes.
We've already
but
done
that's
it.
that's a
Oh
good
no,
point,
that's
Scott.
isn't that gonna mean I win? Wouldn't that
No, it
have
means
to buy the game twice to play on Steam Deck?
if you buy it twice, meaning or even for the first time to leave a negative review, you're gonna have to shell out money to do it. And if you return it, it'll say you returned it without playing it. Like it'll be obvious that you're just trolling. So it is possible that everybody will buy it, play it, return it, and then troll, and then have a little red mark saying product was returned. But I don't think people who will buy
Actually, you're right. You can't review something if you haven't bought it at all. So the brigading will be lessened by that.
I'm XCOMing
Yeah,
this contest. I'm strategic.
That's
No,
smart.
no,
That's
he's-
smart. We'll
That's,
see.
4D
Yeah.
We
chess
got a
right there.
date. Save the date. Chat,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to remind us because clearly Scott isn't gonna remember these.
Oh wait, no. Someone write this. Oh, you guys didn't write this down.
I might remember it now because we've been talking.
Hang on, I'm
so
going to write it in the bottom of the
focused.
show notes. So John said negative.
I did a thing the other night where I thought it was a funny comic strip joke. It was like 2 in the morning, and I was too tired and lazy to get up and write anything down. So I just started repeating it in my head because I knew I could do it this way. I started going, and I just said the joke over and over in my head. And then I fell asleep. I dreamt about the joke. I had all these like other thoughts about the joke. I woke up in the morning and I went, is the joke still there? Yep, it's still there. And then I got up and I sat up and I went, all right, it's a joke. Let's hear it one more time. And I say it in my head and I went, that's the stupidest comic joke.
Oh no!
It was one of those where you're delirious and you think everything's funny, It wasn't
Yeah.
funny at all. It was shit. So I wasted all that brain power on remembering it and then didn't use it.
I had a dream about a dog that screamed. And I thought it was the funniest thing. I woke myself up laughing.
The Wilhelm scream.
Not the Wilhelm, but just like the dog looked over its shoulder and did, like almost that meme dog of like, but it was just like,
I don't know what to
and it made me laugh so much I laughed myself awake. And I was like, man, in the morning I gotta tell my wife about this one. This is a real winner. The next morning I was like, I gotta tell you something, because my brain remembered I have to tell you something. And she goes, what? And I was like, I had a dream about a dog that went, what? And she didn't care.
These are
It
usually
was
usually a
was
goat.
not funny anymore.
Dogs aren't known for their screams like goats are, but I like your dream a lot. Was it goat-like, the scream?
I don't remember, but you know what? It wasn't. Turns out it wasn't funny.
Well, there you
Wasn't
have
worth
it.
the journey.
So here's some other stuff they did. D4 had a fireside chat. A bunch of good stuff. More details on classes and resistances. That's important. Next week they're going to talk more. But here's what we got. Should take 40% less time to hit level 100. So they've actually said maybe people do want to get level capped
A
in this game.
hugely good decision.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big one. 40% is a lot, too. That's a chunk of time. Says more stuff to do, 50 to 100 in Season 2, and with things added each season, previous season stuff will stick around. Overall, adding new content or adding to the content overall. That's a good thing as well. Tons of quality of life stuff. There's a link to that. We'll look at that in a second. They're fixing mounts. I don't know what they mean by that.
Well, the mount sucked. Is
okay.
what it means.
All right, cool.
So, did you ever notice that your horse was slow as shit and couldn't get around anything?
Sometimes
and
he'd stop
whenever
dead on
you
a
tried
guy.
to
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they're fixing.
They should let it clip through stuff. Is that what they're doing? Because I'd like that. No.
You can now bash through barricades. They've said that they're going to make it to where when you want to jump across the gap, like you have those areas of the game where you can jump across the gap. Your horse could technically do it, but it was real finicky on if it would or not.
Yeah.
It'll now do it pretty much 100% of the time. They've changed the speed with which the horse moves based on, because I don't know if you knew this, Scott, the horse speed is based on the relative position of your mouse cursor.
No, I
So
didn't
if you
know
want
that.
the horse to go fast, you had to put your cursor all the way against the far side of the screen to get it to go. That's why your horse always seems slow, because you were probably keeping your mouse cursor close to the horse, so he's just sauntering.
Okay,
a little
this
bit.
answers a question I've had for months, and I just never bothered to look into it because when I played with a controller, it was always standard, or it was always a standard faster speed and always the same. When I played with a mouse and keyboard, it felt like the horse was slower only when I played with mouse and keyboard. It's got to be because I didn't know.
That's why.
That's stupid. I'm glad they're fixing that.
Yeah, so they're working on that.
Wow. All right. That's good news. There are also more methods to obtain Uber uniques, which I'm still not sure I love how they've been implemented at all, but there'll be more ways to get them. So watch for
There'll
that.
be new bosses, and they were mentioning in the chat like target farming will be a thing now. With like Joe Shelley was saying, he confirmed it on Twitter as a follow up. Like if you have a certain boss on farm, you will definitely get a unique you're going after. It's still rare, but over time, if you have a boss on farm, you get the thing you're looking for. So that's
Yeah.
good. So John, did you watch the whole chat or?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
Sweet. Okay. So I thought it was all like music to my ears. Like everything was like just great.
It's
You know,
what you
it's like,
want.
okay.
Yeah. It's
But
what you want to
you
hear.
were saying we'll see if this makes me more enthusiastic or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I watched it and I'm with you. Like all of these things are good. Like I didn't hear anything that made me go, ugh, they're so clueless. None of it got me excited to play the game again, though.
Mm.
That's the one part where I was like to me, that's the key missing ingredient. And man, people got we didn't get a lot of feedback on this, but like the general consensus of the Diablo audience about the expansion thing, where they were going to do annual expansions, is a very negative thing. And I think we were all really positive on the show. And
Yeah.
I think for me, that's why. Like, if you want to know why I'm potentially excited, I reserve the right to change my mind, about expansions, is because
Like those diarrhea bloating.
Yeah.
That
But the reason I'm potentially excited is because hearing all this, like, again, all really, really good things, all things I think the game needs and I think will make the game better. But it didn't make me go, I want to reinstall Diablo 4 and get into it for season 2. And I think that's because the thing that's missing for me is like the part that was good in Diablo 4 was that story. Like it didn't feel complete. I've said it enough times. I feel like we got a quarter of a game, maybe a third. But until I think that is like the carrot to get me in to appreciate the new changes, like until that carrot exists, I don't think I'm going to move. Like there's a lot I still don't like. They did also say, it's not in the notes here, although it might be in one of the pictures. They're going to better randomize dungeons, which I thought the game needed from day one. I don't know if you guys remember during the alpha test, but
100% agree.
I was like, I got a feeling we're going to be running these dungeons a lot. We are. And the fact that they are so not random at all and so like the exact same, this is a problem. And even then, I don't think I realized how much running the same dungeons over again was what Diablo 4 was going to be.
Yeah.
So adding some randomness to it is a really nice addition, in my opinion. Like that I'm excited for. But again, not enough to go, I want to get into this game and play it yet. So maybe the next expansion will get me. But I don't want to poo-poo the things they said because, again, I think these are all very positive changes for the game.
I do too. I will definitely be peeking back in. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes. So next week they're doing the class discussion as well as resistance. I'm interested in that because I think resistance is really poorly explained and executed.
That is the
But
truth.
yeah, I don't know if the season will have enough, like you said, to really push you and change that desire. Maybe it's waiting for whatever the X-Pack is, which we might find out in a few weeks at BlizzCon.
Yeah,
there's also
that's true.
BlizzCon stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's in a few weeks.
Yeah,
You know what? You know what I'm thinking? We're not going to hear from the press people. Is my thinking? I think we're just not going to hear from them this year. Ain't gonna
I
happen.
don't think so.
Nope.
No, they have no love for the Heroes of the Storm boys.
I mean,
Like,
they.
Well, I don't think there's gonna be any real big Heroes of the Storm announcements.
Yeah, I don't think.
I
Not
guess
for
not.
nothing, but I don't think this is the year for it.
Yeah, I definitely can't. It's very expensive to go to Blizz or to Anaheim right now, like at all. And this is just
apparently
too much.
the tickets are still available.
Oh yeah,
Like I was reading a Reddit forum post about
Mhm.
people complaining that they couldn't get rid of their. Usually, they get extra tickets and sell them,
They
but
can
now
eBay
they're
'em.
having to sell them at a loss because they can't unload them.
no, it's going to be a weird. I kind of need to. I kind of excited for it to come and go and see what all that meant. Like maybe they want this. Maybe they want it to be less crazy or pull back a little. Or I don't know.
Holy shit, you can still get tickets.
Yeah, they're not. It's
Yeah,
not like the
like-
old days, John.
What world is this? This is the first time in history that a BlizzCon you haven't F5'd yourself to smithereens.
Which makes me think there are
Trying to get a
people there
ticket.
who are like, "Oh shit," like people aren't buying these tickets because plenty of other events have recovered just fine from the COVID times.
I will say, and this isn't a bash at Blizzard. This is my disappointment in the people who attended. Like the times I've gone to BlizzCon,
Yeah,
how paltry the attendance was at Heroes of the Storms panels, like got me like mad. They'd go there and there'd be like 30 people, and I'm like, this is a great game. Why aren't people showing up to this shit? You know, like
Yeah.
So
kinda.
I don't know if I don't know what that has to do with the conversation at hand, but I just know that there's gonna be.
Still bugs you.
There's going to be some of that. No, there's going to be some of that. Like, I think the main stuff gets attended hardcore, but I find myself the most curious about what, of the people that are there, what gets the most attended and what's not. Because they're not going to show that. I'm assuming there's going to be a direct TV broadcast this year, too.
I don't know.
Or is it just,
They're
no
doing
idea.
an online and it's free for the first time. Like you don't have to pay
like
for
all
it.
the panels?
Yeah.
Because usually the panels cost extra, right? That's I
Well,
guess it's-
I don't think
that I
they
don't
don't
know.
have the deal
Virtual
with.
ticket.
According to everything I can see here and everything I've read, they don't have a deal with DirecTV this year at all. So I think they're just
no
streaming
virtual
it,
ticket this year.
other than the
'Cause it
free
used to be like
streams.
$80, like just to watch online.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just going to be watching free streams, probably multiple streams. They're not going to have, I don't know if they're going to
And
be
with
set up.
panels?
I
That's
did
actually
apply
pretty
for
nice
a press
of them.
pass, but to be fair, I did not put a lot of effort into the application.
I
Did you
did.
say
and I
for
heard
the
nothing.
three of us, or was it just for you?
No, I applied just for me.
Oh, okay. All right. Should I apply too? Like, I appreciate the heads up now. Like,
Go for it. I'll send you the link. I just assumed
I have a
I-
prediction.
No, I
don't
can't.
Check
I
this
need
out.
to get a passport. I won't get a passport in the amount of time I need. I think it's. I have to renew it. I let it expire. So
I have a theory about BlizzCon. Let's see if it comes true. We would have heard who's doing it by now. So I don't think, and I say this as someone who's done it twice, once virtually and once on stage. I don't think they're doing a Q&A this year for WoW. I could be wrong, but they
Maybe it's-
always say who it is by now.
do you think they do it more D4 style, where it's not in front of an audience? Maybe like
It'll
there's
still
less-
be in front of an audience. They just won't have lined up people doing questions that have been pre-screened and having some, streamer or podcaster or whatever doing the moderating. I think that they maybe are going to not do that anymore. I could be wrong, but I just have
Well,
a
they
feeling.
keep. I don't know. It's just a different thing now with all the negative stuff out there. Like you always have your funny red shirt guy moments. That's awkward. Like as much as you hate them, they become a part of the tapestry of the community. Like just
Yeah.
those things that we.
Sure, memes.
But like they've gotten a little nasty in the, like the. Is this an out of season April Fool's joke? That's not really a fond one you think of or remember. It's just some guy being a dick. It's like
Yeah.
okay.
Chad says I have a prediction about BlizzCon. Chris Metzen will be there. Of course he will. He's there. He's working there.
It's like
That's not a big prediction. I will say this.
he was
though.
there even when he wasn't there.
Yeah, he was there. There's-
He's playing Cyberpunk in real life.
Yeah, he liked to go every year and bring his kids anyway, no matter what. But I was gonna say this. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say I don't remember. It was something.
It was something about the Q&A and no questions being asked.
Yeah, I mean they may still do that, but I don't think they'll do it. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Have I ever said on the show before the red shirt guy fell asleep on my couch in 2011? Have I ever talked about that?
You've told me that, but I don't know if that was on the air or not.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did know that.
You did know
I
it.
don't know who it was shared with, but I did know that.
So for those who haven't heard it, the context was we had Nerdtacular that year. It was the first year we did it at this big convention center space, but we still had a party at my house for anybody who could make it, which was insane. I can't believe we used to do that. But anyway, this guy fell asleep on the couch, on my couch, and I glanced over, and I'm like, I think that's red shirt guy, and he's even wearing the red shirt. I have a photo somewhere.
You're celebrating BlizzCon. You must have to wear
Just
red.
imagine, I know it's not the same level, but as soon as you added that he was wearing the red shirt, I just pictured you looking at him and be like, I think that's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
It's just like cartoon mouse over
Yeah.
there in the corner.
Did you take a picture?
Yeah, somewhere there is a photo. I've got to find out where I put that, but there is a photo of. Why are your faces frozen? This is weird. Hold on.
Oh,
You're
I
showing
can
up
hear
to.
you.
Yeah,
but
it's not. We're not broken up. It's the somehow.
Mamma mi mamo, mamma mi mamo.
That's really weird. Hold on, let me fix it.
Hold on, let me reinstall.
Oh yeah, I'm watching
There you
the
go,
stream.
you're good
We're
now.
both.
You're
All
good
right,
now.
I got a good pose,
I had a
John.
glitch.
It's okay. It's not. It's
Yeah,
it's
it's not
acceptable.
great. Could
It's
have
a,
been better.
a weird glitch happened. But anyway, the point is, yes, I have a photo somewhere. He slept on this brown couch of mine. When he got up, he left like a film, like a weird film on the
Mucous
couch.
membrane.
He was just sweaty.
Like a roll of camera.
Yeah, no, just like a roll of film. No, he left like a sticky, like a man film, It's hard to explain. It was a leather couch. It was hot. Whatever.
I'm trying not to make jokes.
It's like July or June, whenever we did it. Anyway, he was very nice.
okay.
He was super nice.
Yeah. I mean, we all have left man film.
Yeah,
we all been
who
there. Red
among
shirt guy.
us hasn't left a little man film? in a place
Yeah.
we've
Who can
visited?
claim otherwise? No one. That's the truth. Anyway, I don't know what else I was going to say about that. So instead, I'm just going to jump ahead to this email that we got.
That's a good question.
Here's an email. This came to us to talktothecore@gmail.com, and it is from someone named Brian, not one of our Brians, as far as I know. And he says, I'm guessing you guys will talk about Star Citizen this week. This was actually last week. If you didn't, then go ahead and
but
stop.
we did mention it this week, weirdly enough.
Yeah, that's funny enough.
Briefly.
He says, if you didn't, then go ahead and stop reading now. I am not a Star Citizen defender, nor am I a hater. I haven't bought in, but I'm very interested in what it will turn into. Chris Roberts makes interesting games, no doubt. He has a history of that. The $600 million number is getting a lot of attention. That's an amount of money that's been spent over 11 years. If 100% of that money went to paying the salaries of people making $150K a year, that would cover 363 people, and a good portion of that money is not absolutely going to salaries. It is a lot of money, but it's a very reasonable amount of money for the time spent working on the game. Now, have they spent a reasonable amount of time working on the game? I'm very much in a position. I'm very much not in a position to answer that. I wish people would stop focusing on the money because that's a side effect of the real issue, says Brian. It's a pretty good point.
I agree, Brian.
Yeah.
That's why I never focus on the money and simply focus on the fact that the game's never going to come out. I don't need to hear the number value to tell you that the game's not going to happen in the way that people think it will happen.
Well, what if suddenly we get a release date and a store listing on Steam and the PlayStation, Xbox stores and all that? What if
And
that
I
suddenly
gotta
happens?
start limbering up the fingers because I've already told them to write into emails, and I will write every single one of them a personal apology.
All
I've
right.
already said that.
All right.
So, I want the game to happen. I love games like that. You know, the only part of not playing Starfield I miss? The spaceship stuff.
Yeah.
And if Star Citizen could come out and do that and like scratch that itch, I'd be so excited.
I would too.
But like, if you said, John, is it going to happen? My bet is on no. That's where I'm at. And
If
it
you
doesn't have
ask-
anything to do with the money. It doesn't have anything to do with the time. I just got a feeling it's not going to happen.
John, if somebody said to you, $5,000 says that it's coming out, and if it does, you have to pay it, would you
No,
feel?
because I don't have $5,000.
But would you feel safe making that bet because you're so sure it's not going to come out?
No, because I don't have $5,000. I got $1. I'd bet that, but because that's what I have.
Right.
Is it maybe out? I went to the site now and it says play now.
Well, yeah, you can get in. And,
you can play modules. That's why I always add the little caveat, because every time I talk about the game not coming out, people are like, you know what I did while listening to Core? Played
Starfield
John.
Citizen. Yeah.
Starfield Citizen.
What's weird?
Starfield
Starfield
Citizen.
comes up with your download. Premium is the Cutter Super Spooky Starter Pack.
Yeah.
Very,
It's Halloween. So
very Star Citizen
Like,
feeling.
someone always reminds me that they are already playing the game, which is why I add the caveat, it's not coming out in the official capacity as it was advertised. They might get something out there for you to play. And they have. People are listening to this right now playing Star Citizen in a form.
yeah.
But the game, as was promised, as was expected, is not happening.
Yeah.
That's where my money is. That's where my dollar is getting bet. I hope I'm wrong.
If I do an about game click on their very nice website, some of this money's going to that website. It really just says, it gives you a bunch of game talking points. What I wish it would do is say, here's where we are, or this is how close we are to completion, or I don't hear any of that shit.
Do they think the game is out? Like, have they drank their own Kool-Aid and they're like, we released it?
It says play now, and it
Yeah.
says 4.8 million have joined the universe. Do the same and be part of creating a living, breathing first-person universe where you and your friends will be able to explore stars on parallel immersion.
Premium
List
would
today.
cost you $45 right now. They're having a deal. It's the same price as standard. That gets you the Cutter ghoulish green paint, starting money 1,000 whatever the currency is, 6-month insurance on your ship, and self-landing hangar. I mean, maybe at some point, we bite the bullet on the show and we actually put them to the test and see what the F you get with this thing.
Drop 45 USD and install the game and see what's going on
Yeah,
there.
I'm curious.
I
don't
mean,
know.
this could be one of those cases. Like, gaming's big enough that you can have like a cultish kind of game that's doing fine. Maybe and it. But it
That's
doesn't
why
make
I
waves into
said, like, we
journalism.
have enough people that are like, it's out. I'm playing it. Do they think it's out? Do they think they've done it? Do they think they're just live servicing the game right now?
I mean, Minecraft was in beta for a long time, not 11 years, but I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit here. I'm not trying to be antagonistic.
Yeah.
But maybe it's, just one of those things where it's a permanent beta kind of game. But like, I don't know. I haven't been in it. I know what I hear about it, but I feel like I just don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what to say or think about it except to just guess try it
Follow
first.
the development.
They've got a roadmap. Let's see, roadmap companion guy. Oh, this is complicated. Hold on.
I think the fear is with a long development cycle that the game is dated by the time it hits launch. I think that's like the hesitation, right?
Yeah.
Because if you make your game in like even Lost Ark's kind of like that. It's an Unreal Engine 3 game. We're looking at Unreal 5.
Yeah.
You know, like you're definitely gonna. I guess your ROI or life cycle on a game like that is going to shorten the longer you wait to release something on relevant hardware that's meant to look good.
Yeah.
I think an indie game is different because it's just stylish and cartoony, or you can get away with it's a different mode. But if you're making real sim or like life sim kind of games that are 1-to-1 with the best graphics, well, you're falling behind.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. One day we're going to look back on it and just laugh. I don't know.
Gosh, I feel like I need a degree to follow this roadmap.
I know the roadmap is weird.
I'm
It's
on
too
the
much.
on the progress tracker, the roadmap companion. I feel more lost with the companion than I did the roadmap.
Yeah, that roadmap that's EVE Online and that's just a spreadsheet EVE Online game, mini game you're supposed to play reading that roadmap. It's pretty bad. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to like
Star Citizen.
Some people who've bought in, I get it, you're in. I would just love to download a video game. And maybe I can. I don't know. Obviously it isn't done. Or they'd say it's done. They wouldn't have a roadmap. Or a pre-release roadmap anyway. I don't know.
I mean, they have a weekly newsletter where they talk about stuff.
Well, you got to spend that $600 million somewhere. Bo.
I'm looking at that's progress tracker. What's release view? I'm genuinely curious. I mean, I got to write a lot of apologies if this thing comes out. I have a vested interest in this.
Yeah, this is a real game. You're screwed, dude. You got to.
And I can't even find the roadmap. I'm worse shape than you are.
Where did I saw it too. It's up in the menus somewhere.
But you can buy Star Citizen pint glasses.
I found the progress tracker. Nothing on the progress tracker goes beyond December of 2023. Is this game coming out in December?
I mean, we would have heard.
Oh, wait. Vehicle content MTL is not done until January.
Oh, well then.
Maybe it's January of 2024.
Okay. Good luck, everyone who's spent your money. It's fine. I want you to have your game. I do. I'm not anti this game. I love his old games.
You got fireworks.
Freaking Freelancer, dude. So good.
The tracker goes up to Q4 of 2025. So maybe they didn't think to go further than that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where it stops, or that's where like they reach a Y2K
We
scenario.
just confirmed the launch date. We just confirmed the launch date.
It's a Y2K scenario that they're aware of, and they know that by then, spend this money because we're all done in 2025. The world ends.
I'm looking at the over. It still has the expense. The over $400. This is where Star Citizen loses me.
Yeah.
So I'm on the pledge store, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna spend some real money for a real ship.
Yeah.
And then you can filter price range, and there's a category called over $400.
Good Lord.
I mean, I can get an annual Tinder membership for that amount of money.
Yeah.
You guys hear about that, by the way?
No. Oh yeah,
No.
the highfalutin Tinder. Yeah, we did. I talked about it on TMS.
You can be a VIP on Tinder for $500 a month.
Yeah, monthly.
I know.
No yearly
What's
break
Tinder?
either.
Is Tinder a dating app?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
it's a hookup
You
app.
have
more than
Is that
dating,
the
but-
swipe app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you like
It's the
swipe
one-
left or right?
It's the one that's notorious. and
Other
they
than
have a
Grindr.
$500 a month offering.
Yeah. Grindr's kind of notorious, but for different reasons. And you also swipe on.
It's for coffee grinding.
Yeah, that's all that is. Grindr's all about coffee. Don't worry about it. Again, send us your own emails. talktothecourt@gmail.com, or you can text us at 801-471-0462. Before we go today, I don't know what's going on, but we got a bunch of new people already. Check this out.
Damn.
Patreon.com/core show has brought in the following human beings since we last spoke. Doug Varner, Seb,
What up,
Mark
Doug?
Beaumont, Aaron, I think Castle, Steezy, Adam Bryant, Sebastian Balbino. That's pretty good. Imalak and Tom
High
White.
five.
A bunch of wonderful human beings who have joined us on our Patreon. If you have not seen why to join, well, go over there and check it out. Also, Patreon had a huge update today, so we got like a new logo and new layouts and new stuff. We'll see if it's things that we can take advantage of to help you guys get more cool content. But check it out at patreon.com/core show today and find out why you should be a member of our Patreon. Big thanks to everyone who already is. I think it's going to do it for the show. We have a tradition now where we toss the mic to Grandma. She's fast Grandma, and she tells us what we played so that you guys don't complain that we never mention the games again. So let's do it now. Grandma, take it away.
Well, hello. They call me Fast Grandma, though I've only maybe done it once, so maybe the time is now. Maybe it's time to bring back the Fast Grandma, so we'll go through this real quick.
Uh-huh.
If you want to know what the boys were playing this week, they played Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, except for Bo, he didn't get to it. Scott played Assassin's Creed Mirage, Amid Evil, Blood West, Post Void, Cultic, Hyperviolent, and Metal Hellsinger. John played WWE 2K23, Station to Station, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Bo also played Counter-Strike 2.0.
That was really good.
Really fast.
Yeah, I
Grandma.
like that.
That's hyper fast, Grandma.
That's efficient as shit.
I'm sure that helped people, especially on an episode where we talked about so many games. I'm sure that was really beneficial to people who waited to the end to find out what they were.
I thought the joke was that fast grandma was just normal speed because it's fast for a grandma.
Oh, I see.
Is that the
Is
joke?
that the joke? I don't know. I'm trying to
I don't know,
think.
maybe I'm wrong.
I got a little distracted when we got to this point because I didn't read the bold part, and I just saw down here at the bottom where it's written John Negative, and I was like,
John
was I too
Negative.
harsh on this episode? Why did somebody make a note of that? And then I realized
Oh.
it's because of the Diablo prediction.
I wrote down our predictions because everyone, we were like all gung ho, and then it was like somebody write it down. It was like so hard. I was
Oh,
like,
that's
fine,
great.
I'll do it.
Look at you, Bo.
Fine.
Overwhelmingly negative. Scott Mix, John Negative.
Overwhelming.
We're not going to forget. We're going to remember forever. Never forget.
Always remember.
Always remember. That's going to do it for us. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week with more. And go check out more Core on YouTube. I put up one this week about scary games we all like. That was fun to do. I'd like to do more of that this next week too. So watch for that
And
over
on
on the
the
YouTube
show,
channel.
is there what's up with
Oh,
the
who's
show
our?
in October?
Let's see. It is a new month,
It
I
was
isn't
think
it?
it's
mine,
back
but-
to you. I think it's back to you, Scott.
Yeah, I think it's
Although
me.
Bo wants to do one by himself because technically Bo and I both did the
Yeah,
last
we kind of shared, so I mean, I could kind of just go again.
Well, it would be Oh, I'm looking now. It is technically Bo's turn, but if you don't want to do, I mean, because you were part of his, you decide. Because
Oh,
I'd be happy to
This
stick
is,
it in.
this is, good to know. So maybe October. Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
we'll figure it
okay,
out.
I
We'll figure it
don't-
out
I
offline.
don't
But that's the important
What
thing.
if we all do them? What if we just turn it into a what if everything on Core becomes a competition and we
Holy
just all
shit.
put out
That's
additional content?
that seems like bad planning or something. I don't know.
Seems
what it-
like a bad
I
idea.
don't know.
Yeah, seems like a lot. Anyway,
I'll
we'll
make a
figure it out. But until then, have a great week and play a whole bunch of video games because there's a ton out there. And we'll see you next time.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Space!
Yeah.